It's time for the Ella Johnson Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show, where there are two sides to every story. Enjoy the broadcast. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Ella Johnson Show. I am so excited that you guys have taken time out of your busy schedule to be here with us on this special broadcast and special time. So we appreciate that because we have so much to cover. So we wanted to come to you an hour earlier tonight so that we can just have such a good conversation with Miss Frida and Stephanie. We have a lot to cover. So welcome. If you're watching from Facebook, thank you. Do me a favor and share. As we're going through the broadcast, you're going to find stuff that you're going to really be excited about. And you're going to want to share that with your family and friends. Give into that. Go ahead and share the broadcast. And if you're watching from YouTube, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel since you're already there. So we're just excited to be here tonight with you guys to talk about Tunstall because the conversation continues. Now, y'all already know what time it is. This is what happens. I want to welcome you all again to the Ella Johnson Show. Now, tonight, we're not going to sugarcoat anything. We never do. But tonight, we're definitely not going to do that. We're talking about the questions that has the community of Monroeville talking. Now, should the chief of police be fired? Oh, yeah, we're just going to go there tonight. Should she? We're going to find out what you think. I'm giving you my opinion, but more importantly, I want to hear what you guys think, right? Then we're breaking down the biggest mystery in the T. Tunstall case, the 33 minutes. That's why this broadcast was named Breaking Down Those 33 Minutes, because we got to figure out what happened in that time frame. So I want you guys to take a moment right now, if you're watching, hashtag 33 minutes. Now, what happened? Who made the decisions? Why are there so many still unanswered questions? Now, we're going to walk through that timeline together, piece by piece. We're going to bring it up. We're going to talk about it so that it makes sense. Now, listen. Don't go anywhere tonight. I want you to stay until the very end because somebody is going to leave here with some cash tonight on the Ella Johnson Show. That's right. We're giving away money before we close out the show tonight, right? And one more thing. This is bigger than this one case. You guys have to know that. This is bigger than one show. This is a movement for truth, a movement for accountability, a movement that says our communities deserve answers. Now, if you're about that and you're about that life, hit the share button right now. I want you to invite somebody. Tell them that the Ella Johnson Show is live. Now, let's get to work. Welcome to the show, ladies. How are y'all tonight again?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Look at Frida sitting there with that. What do they call it when somebody's cheesing? Is it like the Cheetos smile? Is that what they call it? I don't know what they call it.
I just like to take any opportunity I can to smile. I'm grateful to be here. Anytime I'm in either one of y'all's presence, a smile just produces itself upon my face, and I'm grateful for that. And glad to be here. And glad for all the work that you all are doing. And glad to be a part in some type of capacity or another. So thank you all.
Well, we're excited to have you here tonight to share with us because we got so much feedback from the other day, Frida, with you that people were like, wow, she clarified some things for me. I know Stephanie definitely said that, and I as well. Mm-hmm. So we're glad that you're here because of the capacity that you've worked in. It helps everything that we have questions about. Now, obviously, guys, nothing can be exact because everything's alleged. We don't have the autopsy. We don't have the cause of death. So all we really can talk about is what we see in that video, what should be, what we think shouldn't be, that type of thing. So I want to, for the record, state that. We understand that this is all alleged. I want to state that for the show's claim, for anyone that tries to come and say that, oh, they said this. No, we don't have, we don't have the reports yet. So we can just talk about what we do know, video, right? So guys, y'all know one thing I want y'all to tell everybody who you are. Frida, start with you. Tell everybody who you are and why you wanted to be here on the show tonight.
Thank you. My name is Frida Smith. I'm a prior law enforcement officer, 13 years. Out of the 13 of those years, 7 of those years I served in a supervisor capacity. Sergeant was my last position. Um, 2022, I'm just not finding out I had a traumatic brain injury, which led me into a mental institution, which led to my wrongful termination. But so I've been through a lot. Still going through it, and but still glad to be here. Um, Still trying to keep my brain activated in this space, and anything that I could do to help anybody get justice in any way. Because I feel like in order for me to get justice, while I'm waiting for that, I can at least be trying to help somebody else do the same thing that I would want done on my behalf. So I'm just here just to be of any assistance in any way that I can. In the meantime, I'm volunteering at the church I go to here in Star Ministries, and volunteering. Play the drums. I do the sound system. I help out with the finances, fundraising. Um, for therapeutic purposes, I write um, um, and do a lot of things. And therapy every Monday at 1 p.m. It's my favorite part of the week. So glad to be here.
Okay. Well, we're
Hey.
glad to have you. Stephanie, you've been here several times, and I'm not sure if my audience knows who you are and why you're here. So share that with us today.
Yes, so my name is Stephanie Simpson. I am a native of Monroeville, Alabama, born and raised. I went to school to a different school. So the ones who may not know me, from Monroe County High School, that is because I did go to a different high school, Sweetwater, in case anyone knows of that. I am a advocate for social justice. I am a civil rights activist. I am a community activist. I just love to get involved. I love to, make sure that we speak up for the voiceless. And by trade, I am a marketing professional. My family owns a accounting and auditing CPA firm. So we work with a lot of churches, a lot of mega churches across the United States. So I do travel a great deal. And I am a wife, a mother, a friend, a daughter. And I just love to get involved in my community. And I just love to give truth, speak truth.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what a great job you have done for the Ella Johnson show. I tell you, I couldn't do it without you, to be honest. Because you brought a different perspective.
Inspiration, indeed. And however I can help you, I am here to serve. I am and I'm Lord, I am so more than anything, I am a child of God.
Yes.
More than
yes, ma'am.
And so when the Lord calls on me to serve, then I just follow his voice and he gives me strength. And he always puts me in a group of very great spirited people. And so that I know that
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So here's what we're gonna do tonight, guys. Y'all see this right here? Hashtag justice for T. I want you guys to just start hashtagging that, okay? So that we can spread the word. So just hashtag 33 and hashtag justice for T. Yes, I want y'all to do that right now because that's what this broadcast is about tonight. But I want to bring something up here. You guys see this. I know that this is something that's been going around today. I saw it on several people's pages where they were sharing it. But I want you guys to know that this graphic that's making the rounds on social media claiming there's a new Alabama law requiring teachers to report a child to DHR if the child simply smells like marijuana. It also says that this law takes effect on October 1st, 2026. Now, as a journalist, obviously, my job is to make sure that you are equipped with the correct information, especially if I've posted something about it. But I posted it because I wanted to talk about it tonight because I saw that it was taking off. All right. I want to verify whether that's actually true. Now, here's what I found. There was a bill introduced in the Alabama legislature that proposed these changes. Now, among other things, it would have required mandatory reporters, including teachers, to notify the Department of Human Resources of a child's smell of marijuana. It also proposed making it a crime to smoke or vape marijuana in a vehicle when a child under 19 was present. But introducing a bill and passing a law, guys, it's not the same thing. Okay? According to the current legislative record, the bill did not complete the legislative process. It did not become Alabama law yet. That means the graphic that's circulating online is misleading because it presents a proposed bill as if it's already an enforceable law. This is a reminder of why it's so important for us, including myself, to verify information before we share it. Okay? Just put a footnote there. A bill must pass both chambers of the Alabama legislature and complete the legislative process before it becomes law. All right? So as of today, what I'm saying to you is that this is not a new Alabama law. So if the legislator decides to take up similar legislation in the future session, or if the status changes, we'll be sure to bring you those updates. But right now, this claim that this is an active Alabama law that's just not supported by the current legislative record. Okay. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that, because that is what we do here. Right. So I told you guys that we would give away some money, but obviously that's at the end. Y'all know how we got to do it now. You know, I can't give y'all the money right now. Y'all go home. No, we want you to stay with us, talk with us, share with us, comment, be a part of this show. This is our show. Thank you for those of you that have, hello, Derek T. King, I see you. Thank you for those of you that have hashtag 33, hashtag justice for T. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, what this 33 represents, guys, is the 33 minutes that we need to find out what happened from the time 2:30 to 3:03. That's the span of time that we want to cover here tonight. Right, Stephanie and Frida?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we want to cover that.
Down those 33 minutes.
That's right. Those 33 minutes, we got to get them. So what I thought best would be do, guys, I have this graphic because I want us to kind of lay it out. Now, this is obviously not anything written in stone. This is what we generated based on our conversations and trying to piece this together. Well, we have to do this because no one's doing it for us. We haven't heard anything from the DA. We haven't heard anything from the mayor. We haven't heard anything from the chief of police. Well, we have heard from her, and we don't want to hear from her anymore because she doesn't know how to tell the truth. God forgive me. So we're going to lay this out because last week, Frida, you know, you gave us a lot of information, and we're not going to go back and do all of it all over again. However, there are some things that we definitely want to touch along the way here, if that's okay. Is that okay, guys? We do it like that?
Yes, that's good.
So the initial contact, what time did they say that was, Stephanie? This is the first
now,
thing.
According to the report that the chief put out, she said that around 2:30 is when the officer initially saw T walking.
Okay. Officer saw him walking. This is when that initial contact happened. Now, sometime after that, that's when we end up in a foot pursuit. He runs. Okay. Now, now I put physical struggle on here because this is alleged. We don't know necessarily what happened when T came in contact with the police. Okay. All we can go off is what we heard, as far as we heard him yelling, help. I can't breathe. I need water. Help, help. Okay. So obviously there was a struggle in some capacity. We're not sure exactly what. Now, during that struggle, we've alleged that maybe there was a taser deployment, simply because we have a witness that actually said, I mean, I saw this on the news, they heard the taser, Stephanie. They actually heard the taser going off in the woods, because this is very close to it. Let me ask you a question, Stephanie. You're familiar with this area. You were familiar with Kim says, say physical contact. Thank you, Kim. Kim says, Ella, not physical struggle, physical contact. Thank you. He is trying to keep a girl from getting sued. That is what my friend is doing. Thank you, Kim. Look out for me always. Hallelujah. We'll say physical contact. There was some kind of contact with the police because we allegedly heard that there was some screaming going on. Okay, is that better? All right. So there may have been a taser deployment as well, allegedly, because that's what people said that they heard. They heard the taser going off. So there's an alleged outreach out there saying that there was a taser that was deployed. Now, this is where I want to get you, Frida, because we have people watching tonight that may not have heard your conversation last week. So I'm going to take this down so we can see you better here. I want to let's talk here for a moment about the taser and that whole process. One thing you said last week is that you would never pursue, you would never use the taser, and don't quote and don't, let me know if I'm mistaken. You said you would never put that deploy the taser if they were running away. Is that your own preference, or is that how it's supposed to be done?
That was our standard operating procedures, that we were not supposed to tase anybody actively in the process of running away from us, unless they're running towards. We have to articulate that, hey, I had to deploy my taser to stop them from running into a burning building, or stop them from running towards someone they was trying to injure or cause harm to. But the way we were trained in Georgia is not to tase anybody who is actively running, because they can fall and injure themselves. Because once you tase them, they freeze up, and wherever they're at, there's no telling which direction they will fall, what they will fall on, what they will fall over. It's just not safe to do so.
So in other words, and I know that's true because I've seen where people have lost lawsuits. They have, I mean, people have won lawsuits because the police deployed the taser and they fell over and broke their neck or something.
Right.
Whereas that wouldn't have happened had they not deployed the taser. So and see, we can't, it's hard to ask you if you would have deployed because we don't know what happened in the woods. So are people able to know if are police trained to know that once you have deployed that taser, that person you just tased might be in a little trouble? Are they trained to be able to detect that?
It's not only are we trained that they tase us so we'll know what it feels like, but we are trained, hey, they got prompts in them now. Something is inserted into their body that's caused by us that is not natural. They have a foreign object inside of their bodies right now. So now we need a med unit. Now, like I said, there are some officers who we worked with who are literally EMTs, firemen. So if I had one of those reserve officers on duty with me, then I was fine with that. But in most cases, after there's tased, we go over the radio. Hey, we have a subject that's been tased, send EMS or a med unit to come check them out. And that was our standard operating in procedures. And that was done every time a taser was ever deployed on my shift and on
So
any
it's not
shift.
a if, it's not a if you want to call, do you feel like you need to call? It is a standard operating procedure to call whenever the taser has been deployed.
Yes, ma'am. It's a standard operating procedure. We deploy the taser. We notify over dispatch. Hey, we have one that's been tased. Send EMS. They arrive on scene. While they're doing that, we're collecting the AFIDs, AFIDs. The AFIDs are the little dots that are deployed when you tase someone, that tells, okay, where you was at when you tased them, where the subject was at when the front hit them. That's where all the information lies. And that's what we do. After we tase somebody, we collect the evidence. EMS, we fill out the use of force report. I would send it up to my lieutenant. Um, if the subject has to be transported by ambulance, then the officer will ride with them. If they're okay on scene, then we'll handcuff them and take them on to Fulton County Jail or the local municipal jail holding cell.
So you guys make sure that they are medically approved, if you will, to take them to jail.
Right, medically cleared. Far as I know, right, yes, medically cleared, because Fulton County is not going to take anybody who's been tased and has not been medically cleared to come inside of their jail. So we have to get that document, that piece of paper says they're medically cleared, and then they take them into the jail. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. If someone doesn't pose a threat, in
Mhm.
other words, I already got him in handcuff. We got their face down in the ground. We got him down. He's not able to do anything. He's not able to use a weapon. He's not able to take our weapon. He's no longer a threat. Do you still tase?
No, man, I can't think of any scenario, any situation where I would ever tase anybody in handcuffs. How how are they a threat to me? Now, the only thing that's coming to my mind right now is a spit hood. I remember one time a subject was in handcuffs and spit on an officer, so we just put a spit hood over him. It's like a cloth hood that they give us to put over subjects who like to spit for whatever reason. Um, but that's about the only use of force I would probably ever use with somebody who's in. Now, we've had someone who's actively kicking when they were in handcuffs, then we just put the ankle cuffs on them. So now
Okay.
they're like hog tied. Um,
Right.
but we still don't leave them alone outside or in a car by themselves, especially if they're hog tied. But I can't think of any scenario where I would literally have to tase somebody or dry tase anybody in handcuffs. I've not seen it. I can't think of one.
So it sounds to me like you try everything. In other words, the taser is your last resort.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yeah.
Gotcha. Did you want to add something to that, Steph, before we move on to the next thing?
I wanted to, because you said that, and just so that people can kind of get more of a sense, and so I can kind of give them more sense of it. You said that you guys have to be tased yourself. What
Yes.
does that really feel like in your body? And then how long after being tased do you like regain functionality of yourself?
It's an awful feeling. I wish I could explain it. It's like being electrocuted, but from what I've never been electrocuted, from what people say it's a burning sensation. I didn't have the burning sensation. I just remember if I could just being every muscle on you is tightened up. It's just tightened up, and there's absolutely nothing you can do. And after you're tased, I remember just feeling totally exhausted. Like, and from my experience from tasing people, they are totally exhausted. Now, there have been cases where individuals have been on some type of a drug and they have been tased, and I've seen them able to pull the prawns out of them and keep up and go. That's how we know they're on some type of influence. But most people are exhausted um, when they get tased, and they're not trying to get up and run anywhere. They're just like trying to breathe and catch their breath. And most of the time, they just asking us, "Why you tasing me?" And we like, "We told you we was gonna take. Why you tasing me?" And most of the time, it's because they're in an active fight with an officer or something. We're like, "Hey, stop fighting, and we're gonna tase you." And that's a scenario that I can recall from ever tasing somebody that was literally actively in a fight with one of my officers. But besides
Is a
that,
taser, is that something that as a police officer you adjust like the voltage for? I know, usually when it's quick, you can't really, I guess you don't have time to try to adjust anything, but like, is there a standard setting that is put on that you just use against everyone?
look, the tasers, I believe I would have to, my supervisor, I believe is going to be on here tomorrow, Lieutenant Carroll. He is my, but I believe that all tasers in Georgia, I think can't be no more than, I think 10,000 or 50,000 is one of those voltage. And none of them, we can't adjust nothing. It's within the cartridge. The taser just gives the force for the cartridge to go out. But that voltage, we cannot control the amount of it at all. Um, the only thing we can control is the distance where we're at once we deploy that taser. But as far as voltage, I've not ever seen any taser where any officer can control it. The cartridge is given to us, and the voltage, we can't set that standard. I don't know who sets that standard, but every taser I've seen from my police department and other police departments in Georgia have the same voltage on it.
Okay, and then you mentioned like when it's utilized, it's like something goes out. It's just
Yes.
like pellets. So how
Yes.
big are those? And then how hard would it be able to find if it was like, say, if it was allegedly used in the woods? Like, would it take time for them to go out and find those like pellets?
Yes, they're called aphids, AFIDS. I forgot
Mm-hmm.
exactly what it stands for, but they are very small, very small. You know, like a hole punch when you punch the hole out
Yeah.
of a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's smaller than that. It's like half that size, and they're different colors. It's like pink, blue, and green. And I worked the night shift the majority of my career, and it would take a while because I think we had to gather at least a minimum of 10 of them, but they'll be everywhere. So it is a difficult task and it's a long, prestigious task, but we have to collect. That's in the standard operating procedures. You have to collect those aphids. They send it back to Taser. They bring us the report back. They say, hey, Sergeant Smith was standing here. Miss Ella was standing there when she got tased. They can tell all of that just from those aphids that come out. Which direction, where the prawns went. I don't know how they get all the information, but I've seen the reports just from those little
Hmm.
dots. They can tell all that information.
Really?
Um,
So what
mm,
happens if that's missing? What happens if they don't get it?
so somebody's in trouble. The investigation can't be complete, but the aphids are critical. That's like one of the first things they train you when you deploy a taser. Every cartridge has those aphids in there. And I can't imagine what an officer's excuse would be to not bring back one, because it's hundreds of it's enough of them to come out that you can at least gather at least 10. It's a whole lot of them. I can't think of any reason why you telling me you can't come out with at least one. That's not making. If
Any
I had
sense,
an
right?
officer say that to me, that would not make sense to me from just my personal experience. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, I it wouldn't fathom. I guess I was about to say unless you in the water, but you wouldn't deploy a taser if you in the water. So, but ain't no telling what these officers doing these days. But I can't think of any scenario. Even in the rain, I remember an officer collecting aphids when it started raining one time. So I can't imagine any scenario where an officer deploys a taser and come back to me, especially if I'm doing a use of force report, and say, "Hey, Sarge, I couldn't find any aphids." I would my some serious eyebrows would be going up, and I'm like, look, if I go out there and find the aphid, I'm gonna have an issue with you, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Do
So
they
you
have?
we
Oh, I'm
talked
sorry. Go ahead, Ella.
we talked about tasing, and you said there are two different times, because I want to make sure that the audience knows that there's the taser where there's prongs that come out that you have to go to the
Yes.
hospital. Then there's a thing called dry tasing, which is what's been alleged in here based on eyewitnesses, and not eyewitnesses, but people that
Mhm.
have seen his body, et cetera, et cetera. But what's the difference? Which one hurts worse?
They both. I've been tased with the prawns and dry. They both. I can't think of one that hurts worse than
Mm,
the other one. They both hurt. What the the only thing difference I can think of is the length of time. Maybe an officer would keep the dry taser on them a length of time, but I think that's even. Then I think you can't keep it on their skin more than 2 or 3 seconds. I can't quite recall, um, but
or
if I
what
had
happens?
to,
What happens if you keep it too long?
it could cause like marks, burn unnatural marks that are caused by something other than natural causes, which would create a use of force report, which is going to be created anyway. But yeah, I would see no need to. Um, Draw stun anybody longer than that, unless some officers are in the heat of the moment might not even realize. I've seen officers don't even realize that, hey, because they study talking and screaming while they dry stun them. Like, hey, remove the taser. I mean, it still don't make it right, but when you're in the heat of the moment and you're making quick decisions as an officer, I can see why some officers would get caught up in a certain situation. It still don't make it right, but I have seen situations where, in the heat of the moment, you just, you're not really thinking rationally, as we get trained consistently, constantly, but still, when you're in the heat of the moment,
Right.
sometimes the training goes out the window. Most times it don't, but in some situations, I can see that happening. But yeah, you're gonna leave marks, and anytime you cause any type of marks, bruises, scratches, dents, anything on anybody that wasn't there until after your arrival, it's gonna create a use of force report.
Mm. And what were you going to say, Stephanie? You wanted to ask
I
something?
was going to ask, like, do they have to be collected by the officer who actually utilized their taser, or can it be collected by another officer on the scene?
We would like for it to be caught by the collector that utilized the taser, but I've seen scenarios where another officer, well, I've, as the supervisor, even stepped in to do it because there's so much going on, multiple arrests, multiple people involved. You have to delegate. Okay, you do this, you do this, you do. So I've seen situations where another officer would have to do it, but you would like for the officer who deployed the taser, unless they're injured themselves, but you would like for
Mhm.
them to do it because they would have a better recollection of actually where they were standing when the taser was deployed. Um, but I've personally seen scenarios where that officer wasn't able to complete that task, so it was delegated to someone else.
Okay.
So can I use of force? We're gonna move on, but I want to definitely clear this up. Can use of force be within department policy, but still raise legal questions? Give me a
And most
scenario of that.
Yeah, a lot of use of force reports create legal questions. Most people don't like force used upon them, especially unwillingly. So you hear it all the time, like every day, most officers hear, hey, my taxes pay your salary. We hear that all the time. Or we hear, I'ma sue you. We hear that all the time. So that stuff we hear all the time, every day. And most of the time I don't even respond to it. So but most use of force, especially deadly force, is going to create some
Right.
type of a legal situation. Most of the time is unfounded, unwarranted, and it's thrown out. Sometimes they leave it up to the jury. It depends on the DA, the prosecutor, whether that officer was in violation of the SOP or not.
So the DA is the one that decides if that was you, if that the taser was used the right way, or is that the police chief of police? Who determines that?
With the chief of police, the police department, once I send that use of force report up to my lieutenant or whatnot, it's either done within the legal grounds or the standard operating procedures, which is fine, and it goes nowhere else. Or the chief of police might come back and say, hey, this officer committed an illegal act on duty. I'm gonna have to forward this to the DA's office for them to make a decision whether to pursue this or not to
Okay.
pursue this.
But it
You
starts at the
know,
police department. They have to use their judgment to say, look,
right,
this was a bit much. Okay.
right,
Gotcha.
exactly.
I'm gonna give you
That's
one
when
more
it's excessive.
scenario. I'm
Mhm.
gonna give you one more scenario. Let's just say the chief of police comes out and says he was arrested without incident. Then I get the autopsy report and he has taser burns all over his body. Now, you being the person there in that police department, that's one of your officers. What do you do next?
I'm the chief who already put out no incident, but the autopsy comes back and says there was an incident. What would I do next? As me as a chief, I would feel like there's a huge apology need to be given because I misquote or I spoke too soon, I said the wrong thing, or I didn't review the evidence enough, or I should have waited till the autopsy report came. There's gonna need to be some type of reconciliation first on my end before I could even address the officer who actually did the excessive
Okay.
use of force. Um, so then I would go to the officer, hey, you were found using excessive force, which is something that is not tolerated at this police department. I'm going to have to terminate you. But because the life is gone, this is going to, I think y'all have ALEA. This is going to be sent up to ALEA, which they probably already have it by now. And they're going to determine what the consequences of your excessive force may be because they have caused the demise of a human being. Uh, so uh, Yeah, if I was the chief of police who sent out that letter, yeah, at the minimum, an apology. That's if the mayor don't do something to me as the police chief. If the mayor
Right.
don't stand up first and say, "Hey, police chief, you out of here," you didn't use good judgment in this situation. So I don't know what other type of judgment you've been using in other
Right.
situations.
Okay. One more thing though, if one more thing, I promise. So whenever, because you said something, you said that when someone is tased, it makes them very weak, very just like what you saw in the video, right? Just
Right. Yeah,
pretend.
exhausted.
So if
Right.
he were tased, allegedly, if T was tased in those woods, as it is alleged, does it surprise you what you saw in the video?
No, that doesn't surprise me. What's conflicting with me is okay, Norcan was used, possible drugs. Okay, the people I've seen personally who've gotten tasted on drugs are not exhausted. They like wilding out. Um, but then if he was allegedly tased, then I can see him not wanting to walk like that. I don't see the need to be dragging him. Just let him sit or stand there. Unless, I mean, literally when I saw them drag, the only thing that came to mind was they dragging him from a burning bush. Why are we dragging anybody? Um, but him not wanting to walk would be him being tased would be a reason why he would not want to walk. Imagine you, me, or anybody else getting tased or any type of force upon just a regular fight. Most fights for officers, they say, last under a minute, and we are totally exhausted after that. I mean, so just imagine any type of force being used upon you. You're not gonna feel like just getting up and going for a walk. Hey, let's just go for a walk, especially with your hands behind your back. You're gonna be exhausted, tased or not. um, you're just gonna be exhausted, and I just don't see any need for any dragging to be going on in any situation.
Is it against the law to drag somebody like they did?
I don't know if it's against the law. It's definitely not standard operating procedures. We have people. I've dealt with people who don't want to walk. That's when we get 4 officers. There's no rush, no hurry. I seen the officer walking in front of the 2 men that was dragging him. She could have easily got behind them and lifted both of his legs off the ground. I'm like, there's no reason. I don't know if I guess it could be considered some form of battery. Um, which is simple battery, some form of simple battery, which is just something like a small slap. That would be like simple battery, something that doesn't cause any visible marks, injuries, or bruises. Just something like that. I could see that as being against the law if they want to charge him with simple battery. That's at the least, because now his life is gone. But there is no reason I can think of after thinking about this case since my last time on the show, that he should be being dragged. And I don't see any chief, besides, of course, Monroeville, any chief looking at that video and then saying without incident. It's just the math ain't mathing to me. Make it make sense. It's just not mathing to me.
You're on mute, Stephanie. Stephanie, you're on mute. You're on mute.
I got it. As
Okay.
much as like seeing the video really disturbs my spirit. I do know that, each time we do these shows, we do have new people watching. And so maybe to give some of the viewers some context of what we're talking about, we need to show that video again so that they can see exactly what you mean when you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, it's uncalled for.
It's harder every time I watch it. I'm
It
telling you, it
is.
just does.
It is. It is. And it's just
Yeah.
so
But I
people will,
appreciate that.
have that
Yeah,
frame
it's
of
just
reference.
It's unnecessary and
It's
inhumane,
unnecessary.
and you
So,
feel for the family.
so let me ask you a question then. You see how they were dragging him. Could that position restrict his breathing?
With his arms up the way they had it, I can see because we don't know how long they was dragging him. I would need more information, but I could see him being exhausted because imagine your arms have been up this whole time and then you leaning forward, being dragged. I can see where it could cause some type of strangulation going on towards his
Mm.
diaphragm and lung capacity, his capacity to inhale and exhale appropriately, like an upright human being would be able to do. So I
And
can
then to
see,
allegedly put him in the vehicle face down. That
yes,
that makes it worse, right?
exactly, exactly. And
Allegedly.
police and the back of police cars are not built for comfort. They're literally built to help restrain you more. So imagine how small that space is, and for him to be laid down in that small space, laid down on his stomach, hands behind his back, and they standing around for I don't know how long. You can't move. Imagine just trying to breathe. It's like George Floyd #2 all over again. It's like they didn't learn from the first one. Is what's coming to my mind. But just imagine just being in that small space. I've been in the back of a police car before, not arrested, just cleaning it out and stuff like that. It is very small, tight, and they build them that way purposely because they don't want you doing a lot of moving around. I'm driving you to the jail. You doing a lot of moving around. It's gonna make me like, okay, what you trying to do? So they make it constricted back there so you can't move around a lot. Now you face down, handcuffed to the back, and they expect you to breathe while they're outside standing around talking. Uh, I wouldn't mind speaking to one of them officers just like, "Hey, explain this to me. Maybe I'm not getting it. Uh I don't get it. I've never seen it
Yeah.
done. I can't think of not one reason why they would do that. I can't think of not
So
one.
let me ask you a question, Frida. Once those officers had him in the car, they shut the door after that. And we didn't see it in the video. This is based on one of the witness testimony, if you will, here on the show. This is what she said to me on the show, that once they shut that door, they were all standing around. Now, let me ask you a question. If at that point you have a person who is in distress, I mean, because I know they had to see that. You put him in their face down, unless they were still thinking he was playing. I don't know. But you see he's in distress. At that point, um, I know that based on what you said, they should have called him and they should have been trying to figure out what was going on. Is it possible for them to have at that moment called the chief of police? Could they have called her like right there and say, look, we got a situation?
Well, I know. I guess it depends on their SOP. I know our chief told us night shift or day shift, any excessive use of force, he wants to be notified. So I worked the night shift, and I was the highest ranking law enforcement officer on duty at night as a sergeant because my lieutenant worked the day shift. So any use of force incident that happened at night, I would just text his phone or call him if he didn't text back. Most of the time, he was very good at texting back and he would forward it to the chief. So our chief would want to be notified immediately. It wasn't in the SOP that I recall that we had to get trained on every year, but it was just something that he required, and it's something that we did. I would like to think that this chief would want to know. Now I do know all in custody deaths. That was in the SOP. The chief is to be notified immediately. So that did happen. But as far as excessive use of force, I always made sure my lieutenant knew that immediately, and then he would notify the chief.
All right. So it looks like we're all the way over here on number 8 now. They placed him in the
Okay.
car. Now it's time for the transport. Now, you said last week, Frida, and I want you to explain this a little bit more too. Once they got him in that car and we're driving off, and you see that, let's say allegedly he's still laying face down. As an officer, what do you do at that point? How do you handle that transport? And how do you decide where to go at this point?
If I'm in the police car as the officer and I see that he's back there face down, we're not pulling off. First thing, everything comes over the radio. They everything. I don't see unless Monroeville does it differently, but every agency I've been a part of know of in Georgia, it would have to come over the radio. 131 en route to Fulton County Jail, beginning mileage 648, time 1842. One black male, seat belted in, handcuffed to the back. So that's what I keep thinking. I'm just like, okay, how is he put? Is he over the radio saying face down, or if he's looking back there seeing the face down, but still telling the radio handcuffed it in, black male headed towards the jail. I'm curious as to what the dispatch record is, because they got to have all of this information. There's no way for this incident to have occurred without them having this information. There have to be the dispatch log, the GPS log, because why is it taking 33 minutes? Where is this officer GPS going? Where's that stating that he's going? It has to be the body camera log, the camera footage log, the dash cam footage log, the radio traffic log, the reports. All of this is currently available right now at this point. Even though it's being investigated, it is still available. And apparently everybody has access to this except for the family. I don't know if they're not giving the family the open records request, if they have made one, or if they're saying, hey, we're not releasing anything while it's currently under investigation. But as I'm sitting here now thinking, I'm like, there has to be a dispatch log. There has to be body camera log. All of this stuff is available now to at least help the family get some type of relief or comfort in knowing what's going on, whether it's comfort in knowing that nothing was done wrong to them, or it's comfort in knowing that, hey, yes, they did treat him wrong, but now we can move forward with the legal procedure. Because right now they're just in limbo, in my opinion, um, because this stuff has to be available. I can't imagine any officer just leaving the scene and you hear no radio traffic, just completely silence for 33 minutes. If that were to happen as a sergeant, I'd be like, hey, 131, I haven't heard from you in 33 minutes. Are you still on duty? What's going on? Especially if I know you have a someone in custody with you, so I'm curious as to what is this dispatch law, this dispatch traffic. I believe if we had access to that, that would clear up a lot of these questions about those 33
True.
minutes.
I think so.
Yes.
Now, what about supervisors? When do you bring a supervisor on the scene? Should one
Especially,
have been called?
yes, if not already out there. As soon as he said I had one running, I'll be trying to see something on the camera somewhere, on a flock unit or in dispatch if I'm in the dispatch room, or in my vehicle. I'll be like 131 is en route to 182's location. um and then while you have somebody running, every direction you take, you have to tell, hey, north on Virginia, south on Birch Street, we're running
Okay.
eastbound on Northside Drive, we're now southbound on Virginia Avenue, we're going north on Loop Road. It whether it's on foot or in the vehicle, every direction change you take has to come over the radio.
So they should have been communicating with dispatch all this entire time that they were chasing
And
him.
indeed, indeed. So now, normally the because we call it the first man, and then you have the backup of normally the first man who's chasing. If they're by themselves, they're over the radio. But once somebody get with them, they'll say, "Okay, 131 is now taking over radio traffic." And 131 to come on and say, "Okay, 182 is chasing black male subject through the woods southbound on Monroeville Avenue. We are now in the woods. We're going." All of this has to be on the radio, or how can
Mm,
the sergeant be responsible for their officers if they don't even know where their officers are at? Um,
mm.
that's how we're trained in the police academy and Georgia Post and annual training. That's how we're trained, and I'm sure that's how those officers were trained as
So
well.
we better hope that the mayor, when he
Hmm.
decided to send these officers back, that he reviewed this dispatch log to kind of make sure that everything was followed to the T.
I can't hear you all of a sudden.
Uh-oh.
Last thing I heard was mayor. Is it
Okay,
me?
can you hear me now? Can you hear me? No. What in the world is going on? Can you hear me now? Oh no. Can you guys hear me out there? Okay. Well, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties here, guys. Are you all able to hear me out there? Okay, she's back. Okay, so
I'm
they can
able to
hear
hear.
me. Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, good deal. Thank you, Renee,
Mhm.
for letting me know. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know whether to talk. I don't. Okay, good. So what were we saying now? We were talking about the dispatch log. Well, we have a
Oh, yeah.
guest here who's asking. I mean, we have
Hmm.
a viewer that says, "How do you obtain the dispatch log?" Is that
Open records request.
okay?
Just do
So
an open
open.
records.
Okay,
Yes.
so the
Uh,
public can view that.
yes, they gonna redact any sensitive information.
Good.
Um, so like, but at least you'll get the directions and the timestamp. Everything from the dispatch off that I have seen, everything is timestamped.
Right.
So unless they do it a different way now, but so at least you'll get like it'll be like okay at 2:30 they arrived on scene at 2:32. 131 comes over the radio running in the woods after a black male. And we have to do the description over the radio. We were trained to do that. He has on a gray shirt, khaki shorts, white tennis shoes. And the thing is about dispatch, also, they're trained. If we don't say it, they ask us, okay, what is his height? What is his weight? Does he have facial hair? Does he have eyeglasses on? Because they know we're not thinking everything while we're in the middle of it. So our dispatchers, communication officers, are trained to retrieve the information from us that we're not giving, that we're supposed to give. Either way,
So
all
what's
of
the
this.
purpose of that? To make sure there's no wrongdoing, or what's the purpose?
Yeah, to make sure there's no wrongdoing, and also in case we lose the subject, if
Okay.
someone else finds
Okay.
him somewhere else, they say, "Hey, a minute, wait a minute, Sergeant Smith was in a chase with this subject an hour ago. He's at the gas station now." So all of that, and it's to help protect the agency, the officer, and it's help to protect the citizens, because it's open air radio. A lot of citizens who are most of them are retired officers. Anybody can go get a radio and listen to wherever you live at now. You can go get a radio. I'm about to say Radio Shack, but they're not open. You can probably order off Amazon. And just it's probably an app for it. It is an app for it. Somebody showed it to. I'm not no longer interested in listening to radio traffic. I've listened to it for 13 years, but you can listen to your local. The news reporters do it. They would come on scene, and I would hear myself over there. Radio traffic, true story. I was shocked. I was like, wow. They said, yeah, we listen to radio traffic all the time. So
I
it's
can see why they would, because they're wanting
right.
to catch that breaking news.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So
So,
mhm.
wow. So we're at the transport part now, and
Okay.
based on what we've talked about on this show, they
Mhm.
took him to the jail instead of taking him to the hospital.
Right.
Now, you guys are trained to know which one to do, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And yes, any time of use of force, any type of injury, anything. And plus, we already know, a part of me believes that they already knew that the jail was not going to take him. I don't know why they tried to override taking him to the hospital to take him to the jail. a part of me, we don't have the full
That's right. Absolutely.
toxicology up top. So all of this is just based on what I do now. But a part of me thinks somebody was trying to figure out something to hide something. Because most of the time, if somebody has any type of injury or anything like that, or unresponsive, for them to be gone missing for 33 minutes and then show up at the jail, they had to have been desperate and like, okay, we out of options. Let's just try to sneak it past the jail, see if they'll take them, which did not happen. The jail didn't happen. But my goal is try to understand what happened and not to speculate. But it's 33 minutes.
So do you think maybe they called somebody? Possibly. They could have called somebody and say, look, yeah, take him to jail.
I believe they did that, but I believe that should be documented. Every delay, every minute has to be accounted for.
Exactly.
My
Yes.
thing is, I'm just thinking about our dispatchers, our communication officers. Okay, 131. 10 minutes ago, you said you was en route to Fulton County Jail. It's been 15 minutes now. What's your 20? That's a little bit there. 20 means location. What is your 20? Why are you not at the jail yet? And then I come over the radio, hey, I'm stopped by a train that stopped me, or something like that. But any delay should be documented. Any delay has to be, it should be documented. Um, all of that, because every minute can affect a person's life. Um, and every minute can affect that officer's career. Um, I'm just sitting here thinking, I just don't understand. But 33 minutes, I just don't understand that. It makes me wonder, was some laws broken? Did they call somebody saying, hey, look, we in the bind, we done laid him down here, face down, handcuffed to the back. All of that is against SOP, standard operating procedures, and he's unresponsive. And I can see somebody saying, hey, just try to give us some Narcan. He has a history of being on drugs allegedly, or they want to put that on there, just try to do that. And I can see that. I can literally see that happening. That's the only thing, as illogical as it sounds, that's the only thing that I can logically believe what had happened, what has happened.
Yeah.
Is the officer was in the bind, maybe he called another officer or a supervisor something, and they didn't want to get in trouble, so that's what they decided to do.
Here, I want to pull this up. I want to make it where it's big enough where everybody can see it. I want you guys to pay attention here. This is the log from once that call was made. Now they have left Marengo Street. They are now at the jail. This is the part where the jail. Let me make sure Stephanie's here on this part. Let me bring her in. There she is. We missed you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. We missed you. I know this is one of your favorite parts. So we have this up here because now we're at the part where they're now en route to the jail. And one thing that Frida and I were talking about, Steph, if you want to add something else to it, is that on going to the jail, why they made the decision to go to the jail anyway, it could have been someone could have possibly said, yeah, that's the best route. Maybe they called outside that, because remember, they didn't leave right away, allegedly, from once they had him in the car. They didn't leave, but they did something. Now, it could be they called Mandy. They could have called their supervisor, anybody. They could have called, told them what was going on, and said, okay, take him to the jail. Because I can't imagine if they knew he was passed away already at this point. Now, we don't know if he was or not. But why would you take him to the jail if you know he's in distress? And one reason we know that you knew it because you gave him Narcan, right? But we're not sure who gave it. Did they give Narcan or did the people at the jail? That's still kind of clear. So this is where we are now. Now they're at the jail, and the jail is telling them, you don't bring him in here. This man needs help. So let's look at this. Let me move this out of the way. I got to put us over here like this so we can see it all. Can you guys read that? So we see here, the 911 call is made to EMS. Now, this is all from the jail. I don't know if the jail is the one that made this call or the MPD, which I don't understand why MPD would wait to get to the jail to call. So my guess is that the people at the jail are the ones that initiated this part. So they called 911, told them you need to get over here to Wilcox, and then all this other stuff, patient unresponsive, faint pulse. This is what they said. We have a faint person with a faint pulse. And then all this other stuff, calling the area around. Now we're dispatched nearby. This is the first unit anywhere for that patient. Patient is going to not be breathing at this time, possibly going to be an OZ. So basically, Frida, they made the call. They said there was a faint pulse. Then they say that now they're making an assessment of what they think it is without any toxicology report. How can you say what they did say possibly going to be OZ? And then that's how they put it out there. But I want y'all to pay attention to this very last part right here at the top. Let me make this. I want to make it like this so we can see it. Look at this right here at the top. What does that say? As discussed during the dispatch call, emergency medical personnel responded to a call about an unresponsive patient with a faint pulse at the Monroe County Detention Facility in Monroe, Alabama. The patient was not breathing when responders arrived. So this is our proof that, yes, he died at the jail. Maybe. If this call is correct, if they really called and there was a faint pulse, see, we don't know. I don't know who assessed him to say it was a faint pulse. Was it a medical personnel? Did they really check his pulse, or was this just street talk to say he looks like he has? I mean, we don't know until we see all the report from the Sally Port, from the jail, to kind of see what was on there. But if he was alive when they made that call for real, then that means that he died while he was waiting for EMS to arrive. What are your thoughts on that one, Stephanie?
So, it's actually a few things to break down here. I was looking back over, and I just dropped it to you in the chat, the statement from the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And you're correct on that. Initially, I thought they said the MPD call, but they did say the same thing, that they just received the call. I'm going to assume that since it didn't come, I'm going to assume that if it would came from within the county jail, maybe that they would have said so, but I don't know in regards to that. But and let me ask this question too to you, Frida. Are police officers trained to check? Well, a couple questions. One, are they trained to check the pulse of the people they're transporting? And then two, are you trained when you're transporting someone, like in the process of transporting them, are you trained to like continuously to check on them, whether you're looking in your rearview mirror or doing a glance, or is there a camera that's facing the back seat that the police officers can potentially see from, the dashboard?
Well, we are all trained in CPR at the police agency I worked for. And during that process, they do teach you how to train for signs of life on every, your pulse on your neck, your wrist, even the inner thigh, all of your pulse points is what they call them, the pulse points on the body. So we are trained to do that. As far as trained to keep an eye, and when you have somebody in custody, you are the custodial of that person. The officer is the custodial of the person that they have in custody, which means that we're responsible for that person we have in custody. So it's like a parent with a child. You're responsible for that child. So of course you always want to keep eyes on them. I don't want to say that we were trained to keep eyes on them, but the dash cams that we have, which were Exxon, AXON, we had a screen in the dashboard. The camera was in the back, and I could just look at my dashboard and see, because a lot of times they like to talk. People in custody like to talk for whatever reasons. A lot of times I used to just let them talk, and I could look at them through the dashboard and communicate with them through that. But if I'm the custodian of someone I have in custody, I want to keep eyes on. I want to make sure they're okay.
Exactly.
And I want to make sure that I stay okay. Because I remember an incident when an officer had someone in custody, even though they did pat them down, this person still end up with their weapon on them. But because they was able to keep eyes on this person, when this person started moving around, they were able to pull over and retrieve the weapon that this person had hidden somewhere on their body. Um, so it would just be irresponsible. It would be neglect, in my opinion, for any officer to be the custodian of someone that they have in custody and not have enough eyes on them to the point where somebody ends up at a jail unresponsive. In the words unresponsive are being used. Um, and then you can't tell me when this occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I would have an issue with that. And 33 minutes. Uh,
Which is
doing
why
those
I don't
30,
understand why they were so quick to return them to work. You don't know. I mean, unless they know something we don't, Frida and Stephanie.
they do.
Unless they
They
know something
definitely
we
do.
don't. It doesn't make sense. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that it didn't make sense for you guys to take him to jail. We know that.
Mm.
Because you had to know he was having a medical emergency. Let's just forget whether they're using their judgment or not. The standard procedure was call EMS because you tased. So if they tased, they are directly responsible for his demise. If they tased him and did not get him the medical help he needed, my opinion, that right there, and then the fact that you delayed, every decision made after that delay cost him his
Absolutely.
life.
Exactly. That delay caused the demise. It's the same way when we pepper spray anybody. We called med units, put water on them. We had to get pepper spray in the academy also. And that
Yeah,
is the awful. I mean, I burnt for days. No joke. Took baths
really.
with milk. Yes, literally.
You know, it's
I mean,
alleged that he was pepper sprayed and tased. That's what the alleged.
oh,
Yeah, that's what they're
he
saying. And I
definitely
know
should
that's a
have been.
deadly combination. Those two
Yes, he
together. Yeah.
definitely should have been seen by we literally hose them down when we pepper spray individuals. The meds units would come up with the fire truck with a water hose and literally tell them to, hey, just sit down, hold your head down. We're gonna put the hose over your head and lift your head up every blue moon to grab some water over your eyes. But uh yeah, that pepper spray, no joke. I would rather be tased than be pepper sprayed.
Oh wow.
That's
Well,
how
what is pepper
much of a
spray? Does it make you thirsty? Because he was
it's
begging for water,
OC.
saying he couldn't
Yeah.
breathe.
Yeah, it's OC spray, which is the hottest pepper on earth from what we was trained on in the police academy.
And
I
they put it in
forgot the
your
name of.
eye. Ooh.
Yeah, they sprayed our face with the numeral 8, and we had to say our name, our badge number, our agency, in our class motto, which I forgot. We had to say all of that before and then they made us open our eyes before we was able, so that it could get in our eyes before we was able to go to the water hose. But that was awful. I literally had to throw away the clothes I wore that day. And other police academy mates that I talked to, literally the next day we was all still burning. Our face was still on fire. I mean, we would literally put our face in buckets of ice water just to get some
Oh
relief.
my goodness, that bad,
Yeah,
huh?
yes, it's horrible. It's horrible. Um, but I didn't know that he got OC sprayed. Also, this they
Well,
need
that's alleged.
some
We don't know if
yeah,
that's the
right.
case. I mean, because remember, she said there was no incident, so we know that's not true.
Yeah,
So we don't
I
really know
don't
what
know.
else really happened yet.
We need to figure out what would be an incident because she's saying without incident, but the incident is in the video. So how can she hide
The
or
incident that
write
he
no?
ran, that's an incident right there.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Yeah, the incident is
Exactly.
literally in her statement that she put out. Like
Right.
she
I
described the
was
incident,
just gonna
or
say
she
that,
said it was
Stephanie.
without
Like,
incident. You're
really,
like,
Right.
I wish I could
It
talk to the person that approved that statement. That's who I want to talk to.
it would have to be the mayor. I would
And
believe
that's
because
probably why she's not
I
in
don't
trouble.
know. Like I would think they would have some type of public relations person, attorney for the department.
Something. I
I
know
don't.
they have a city
Monroe
attorney
has
in
a
Monroe.
union, but I don't know. But
you know.
Should have been better
I
off putting
just
it in Chat GPT. I'm just
We
saying.
were, yeah, for literally. But
Literally, and I'm
I
sure law
don't know.
enforcement has something that's similar, to ChatGPT that's
I
made
hope
for,
so.
They
police
do.
officers or
You
They
know
law
what
do.
enforcement.
what that statement sounded like? We don't want to be sued. That's what I read.
And
So
she
we're
just
gonna make
made
it
it
seem like
easier.
we didn't do anything to this young man. He was
Yeah.
alive, he was alert, talking to the officers. Mandy, none of that happened.
Mm.
Okay. I
She
just wish
just made it
somebody would have said,
easier.
now before you write that, you better look at this video because it's
Yeah.
circling all over the internet.
Right.
And then she
She
would
just
have had
made
to
it
rethink.
easier. Yeah.
But guess what? She had time. Stephanie, she had 3 days.
She
Remember,
did.
this happened on the 30th. She did the statement on the 3rd. You had time to look at the body cam footage, check the logs to see if he was. You had time to check. So there's no excuse.
Absolutely.
Well, we just wanted to give it to SBI. No, you
And
guys made decisions to bring these officers back. I want to know what you based it on. Because I know
every
you
time we
said,
talk, something else comes up. And so last night I was thinking about this, and I was rereading her statement, and then that date, I was already questioning the timeline, but that date stuck out to me too, because I know when people have tried to get answers from them and they want to say, oh, well, SBI is investigating, we can't talk about it. But she released that statement after she supposedly turned the investigation over to Aaliyah. Aaliyah said that they were contacted at 3:50 and had in an investigation, and they asked to investigate for them to, investigate an in custody death. So she released this statement. Well, it says, I have to go back and see the exact date that she posted it. I'll say she posted it then, at least I think on April the 2nd, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sorry, you said she contacted Aaliyah before making this statement?
Yeah, she did. So let me see if I can drop that Aaliyah statement to you. Because Aaliyah said they were contacted at 3:50.
3:50. Yes.
I'm going to see if I can drop this in the chat.
But it all happened on the same day. You know
But
what's making me mad now that I'm looking at this? They're trying to blame him, saying that he refused to walk. This was uncommon behavior for this man. And now allegedly, let's just say if they really did tase him, and that's what I can't wait to find out. If they really tased him, this right here, she needs to apologize, because you blamed this man and said that he refused to walk. This was uncommon, even though we haven't seen any proof of it. We don't know if that is true. And if it's true, it's irrelevant. It is irrelevant to me at this point, because you tased him. And if you tased him, you were supposed to call EMS. It has nothing to do with whether he's walking or not. You got to follow procedures. So all of that is smoking mirrors. It's like, look, I hear what you're saying about all that. None of that matters. Did your guys deploy a taser? Yes. Then none of this means anything. What did you do? You're worrying about what he did or he didn't do. What did you do? Did your man call EMS when you know that you may allegedly tased him? They tased him. Shame on Monroeville Police Department. Shame on them.
So the chief called Aaliyah about an incident and then made a statement that there was no incident.
Yeah, so I made I dropped the statement from Aaliyah into the chat to you, Ella, if you want to look at that. And so Aaliyah made a statement about it, and they said that they were contacted, if I'm not mistaken, let me go back and make sure I got that time frame right. So yeah, Aaliyah said that they were contacted approximately 3:50 p.m. at the request of the Monroeville Police Department, and about it, and launched an investigation into an in custody death.
That would be an incident.
And that was on that Monday, March 30th. They said they were contacted at 3:50 p.m. And this was put out by the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency on their letterhead.
So she contacted, I'm sorry, I don't mean to respond. She contacted ALEA about an in custody death, about an incident that she wanted them to take over. An incident. She contacted them about an incident. After she contacted them about an incident, she puts out a press release and says, without incident. Am I getting this right?
Basically, yes, she did.
Wow.
She
Girl, now
did.
you know that just made me crazy right now. Listen to that. Here it is. On
Exactly
Monday
what
at
happened.
3:50, at the request of the MPD, they assigned it at 3:50.
Wow.
The 3:03. So these are the times coming out: 3:03, 3:50, and then the same day is when they turned it. They turned. What day was it, Stephanie, that she posted this on Facebook? Because that's when it came
I
out.
can go back and see. I saw
Yeah,
somebody in the comments said that she posted it within the first few days,
within the first few
but I'm going
days.
to go back and
Yeah,
see.
yeah, it was around it was 3 days. I know because that's what Thomas Jackson, when he was here on the show, he said that he had a problem with, because he said that he spoke to her, he spoke to the mayor and wanted to know, why did it take you guys 3 days to release a statement? I mean, he didn't do
Yeah.
anything about it, but he did question him about it. So
If
this
I
is the Aaliyah statement right here, guys.
yeah.
They made
As a,
sure to put this whole narrative out there about Narcan. I want y'all to pay attention to that.
Okay, so
It's
she
gonna be
posted on
real
April
silly.
2nd.
It was April 2nd. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then if she put the statement out on April 2nd, Aaliyah got it April 3rd, based on what I read. Based on what I've seen. They because it's in
March
the
31st.
articles.
Aaliyah got it March 31st.
No,
What do you
Aaliyah
see?
said that they got it on March 30th.
March 30th.
This is
Okay.
Aaliyah's statement right here. They're saying
Yeah.
on that Monday, March 30th at approximately 3:50, at the request of the Monroeville Police Department, special agents assigned to the Alabama law enforcement agencies, State Bureau of Investigation launched an investigation into an in-custody death. So they
So that
launched
means they
the
did it the same
investigation
day.
that day at 3:50. And that's why,
Yeah, that's right.
what we do know is that the supposedly the ambulance was called at 3:03 p.m. By 3:50, Aaliyah is saying that they received the call. Or actually, we don't even know. They just said, let me see to be exactly. And said, okay, like you just said, like at 3:50 is when they actually assigned it to them. So we don't know exactly what time. I'm just gonna go with the 3:50 because I feel like that's still such a close time frame. It had to be in it. So we're gonna also need, because I've been trying to narrow down exactly like what time was he pronounced. And the news says that he was pronounced dead at Monroe County Hospital. So between 3:03 and 3:50, since by then it was classified as an in custody death. So his time of death had to be between those 2 points officially.
Okay.
We'll say.
March the 30th, the chief contacts Aaliyah. March the 31st,
Mm-hmm.
Aaliyah comes out with this. And
Yes.
she puts her release out April 2nd.
Yes. On her Facebook page, it has her posting this on April the 2nd. And
wow.
Actually,
I mean,
which
to
means
me,
she had more than enough time to research, to know something. You got to know something before you release a statement. Like, what did she look at?
This is highly
crazy.
I'm trying to use careful words here. This is highly oh my God. I don't want to say that word. No, it's just this is severely negligent. Let me just this is severely negligent because she, in her attempt to try to put it on the deceased individual, in her attempt to do that, she actually gave more ammo or more fuel for them to work with. She's trying to write a press release saying, hey, he's doing uncommon behavior. But the day before or 2 days before, I contacted Aaliyah saying, we have an incident. We need you to take over. And then 2 days later, on March the 30th, she was concerned enough to the point that her officers had an incident that she had to call Aaliyah, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You had to call Aaliyah because she was concerned enough. Hey, my officers done did this. We had an in custody death. We need you to take over. She was that much concerned. Then 2 days later, all of a sudden, hey, this was without incident, and he was displaying uncommon behavior, which could allegedly be the cause of his demise. So 2 days ago, we had an incident to the point where I had to get the state involved. But now I'm saying, hey, I changed my mind. This was without incident. I'm thinking about court because I've been in court for a while. This will never
Come on
hold up
now.
in any
Mm,
court. I'm like, she
mm,
has made it worse.
mm.
She has made it. How is this gonna hold up? And this is just based on what we don't even have the full autopsy, toxicology, none of that. And the cause of death is gonna be whatever the ME put on the death certificate. So right now it's just all speculation. Um, but good gracious,
Okay, so
it
let me
just
ask you a
this is
question. This is
crazy.
interesting, Frida. When did you remember on the dispatch? I really want to pay attention to this right now. This dispatch. Let me pull this back up again. You see here where they said that he was deceased when they got there. Are they medically able to say someone is deceased, or does that have to be pronounced at the hospital?
The only person, from how I was, the only person who can pronounce somebody deceased is the ME. Doctors and nurses, and we do it all the time. We'll say, because there's no signs of life, we'll do it. The only person who can literally pronounce and say, I mean, you can go to a hospital and unfortunately have a loved one pass away, and they'll say, hey, they're gone. They were pronounced dead at 7:23 p.m. and
That's
they'll give you
okay.
that. But on the official time of death is going to be once the ME get the body and or the remains, and say, okay, there's absolutely, because rigor mortis done set in and done left. So this is the official time, and it could be the same time that they gave to the family. Um, I've experienced this personally. My wife passed away from pancreatic cancer. So
Mm.
I've experienced that, the change in the death, which was only a couple of minutes personally. But it's just so the time of death, they getting it wrong and misconstrued. I've seen that professionally and personally before. The
Mm.
only person who's legally, as far as the court is concerned, allowed to pronounce would be the ME, but people pronounce it all the time, you know, just
So
to
this is
say
why
it.
I'm
But
asking. This is
mhm.
why I'm asking because when they died, when that person, the EMTs got there and they said he's not breathing at this time, that means he's dead then. But you see how the narrative made it look like he died at the hospital? Because now it
Mhm.
takes the heat off of the police.
Yeah, that's not uncommon though for me to see. We had a individual, and I think Lieutenant Carroll remember this. The individual was um unalived by, he was trying to steal a car from someone, and the person he was
Right.
trying to steal the car from unalived him, shot him in the head. On scene, we literally saw his brains. We knew he was gone.
Mm.
MEs,
Mm.
the ambulance come take him to the hospital. When they get there, they say, okay, he's brain dead. He's still alive, but we all thought there was no signs of that he was still alive. So, but when he got to the hospital, so they started trying to do life saving procedures, but it didn't work. He still ultimately ended up being um,
Mm.
deceased.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot the whole question. I apologize.
We were just talking about the cause of the time of the death. You know,
Right.
they
Yeah.
said it was there versus at the hospital. He did not die
Right.
at the hospital.
Yeah,
That's
that's
one thing
why I
we do
brought.
know. Yeah.
Right, yeah, that's why I brought that up, because
Yeah.
we said on scene he was dead, but then
Yeah.
when they got to the hospital, they were saying, "Oh no, there's signs of life, so we have to start life saving procedure." But even though when they was doing that, they still was like, "Okay, he's not gonna make it," but they still, because of the oath that they signed, they still have to start life saving procedures, which he did not survive.
Right.
So I've seen it before. I've been in part of case because I was a part of that case. Well, okay, clearly we literally looking at his brain. Clearly he's dead. But then my officer called when he was at the hospital. He said, "Hey, they started life saving procedures." So I'm like, "Okay." Then he
But
called me
doesn't it
about,
matter? Timing matters though, especially when
yes,
there's a
it's
lawsuit.
something. Right, right.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to explain that though. They'll be able to
Okay.
explain all of that. But so when I saw that on the dispatch call, unresponsive, because somebody can be unresponsive and still alive. It's crazy, but I've seen it. Literally, they could be. I've seen a man on the sidewalk. There's no checking his pulse, no sign of life. Sure, okay, man, we got a 48. 48 is a deceased person. We got a 48. And I went over the radio, I said possible 48, Virginia and Bobby Brown Avenue. Med units come out and they check him. And then it's like, yeah, he's gone. But then he'll just wake up. Then the dude just woke up. That's
What?
one
Oh,
incident.
yeah, I'm out of
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
that's one incident I've actually seen happen. So, and other officers have seen stuff like that happen. So, now I've never seen nobody who's unresponsible for like 5 or 10 or 15 minutes come back to life, but somebody like 1 or 2 minutes. So to see unresponsive, that's the terminology we would use anyway. We wouldn't use unless clearly, because I've been to where people have unalived themselves, so we clearly knew it was a 48. We're like, hey, this is a 48. There's no way this body has survived this incident that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
So
So
it depends. Hmm.
it looks like we're at number 12. We're at the hospital now. So they transported him. So I guess when they got to the jail. So this is my thing, Frida. When they made it to the jail and they decided, someone at that jail decided not to bring him in, which we all know that that's okay. But there has to still be a process and a procedure for what they do, how they do that. You don't just say, no, he's out of here. Y'all better figure this out. Someone has to
Okay.
act. Who's responsible from that moment he ended up at that jail and they refused him? Number one, is there a special way they're supposed to refuse him? Like, is there paperwork that has to be filled out? Does a person that refused him have to be qualified to do that? Like, how does that work?
Mm-mm. Okay, so that's where the Sally Port camera footage can come in. Now is coming. This is where I'm trying to figure out why they didn't call the EMTs, because they would have got them clear and the jail would have took them. But this is very common at Fulton County, especially Fulton County. They don't like to take anybody with a scratch on them, with anything on them, any mark on them. They were like, nope, we need medical clearance first. Um, so now this is making more sense to me. So um whatever they was doing for 33 minutes. At the end of that 33 minutes, they decided, okay, let's end up at the Sally Port. They get in the Sally Port. The jail itself, before we have to, there is no weapons allowed inside of a jail, not even from police officers. So we have to take off our duty belts and everything. In every jail I've gone to take an inmate or someone in custody, somebody from the jail comes out to the Sally Port to meet us with our person that we have in custody and
Okay.
look over them. Sometimes it has been a nurse, and that's if they already know the injuries were involved in doing the arrest. Sometimes it's just been a deputy, and they'll ask the person in custody questions. Hey, how are you feeling? Are you okay? They'll just ask them, no notes or anything. Were you injured or anything? And they'll tell us verbally, hey, we're refusing the acceptance of this prisoner at this time. And now I come over the radio, hey, en route to Grady, Fulton County, since it's refusing to accept this in custody, this person I have in custody. So that's what I'm thinking that what happened when they got there. The jailer came out to greet the officer, and the person he had in custody saw the condition of Tunstall and said, we are not taking him. Um, what's going on in my mind is, why would it take somebody from the jail to refuse to take him before the
That's
officer
what I said.
realized that
Yes.
it was going to be a refusal?
Yes.
Um,
Okay, so let's go
that's
back to Mandy's statement for a second, because according to her statement, which again, we're at this point, we've already established you're not really trusting because it just does not line up. But we're going to use her words. So she says that her officers, where is it? I just read it here on my end. Upon arrival, he became officer immediately. Okay, well, I guess it doesn't still, according to her, say exactly who noticed that he was
Somebody did it before calling
unresponsive.
EMS, though. You see that part?
Let me see here. So became unresponsive. Officers immediately began giving Mr. Tunstall medical aid and
Medical aid.
called for EMS. So
Now,
I'm
was that the
assuming
Narcan?
I'm going to assume from what I'm reading there, it seems to say that the I'm assuming that her police officers immediately begin giving him medical aid, and they are the one that called for EMS. Let me ask you though, Frida, do you, when you're transporting someone to jail, do you call ahead to let them know, hey, that we're en route there? And do you call again when you're outside and say, oh, we've made it? Or is somebody like on the lookout to see when you pull up? Or does the police officer go in and say, hey, we have somebody, can y'all come out? How does that work?
From every time I've ever taken anybody to jail throughout my 13 years, we radio it to dispatch. Dispatch and notify whatever jail we coming to. Hey, we have one en route, or we have two people in custody en route. Because we have to know, first of all, if the jail have room to accept who we have.
Mm,
So
Right.
they
okay.
had to have called the jail to let them know, because a lot of times, especially all the protests they have in Atlanta, it could be crowd like, we have no room. Send them to Union City, send them to East Point, send them to College Park. Fulton County has set up a system where they have other jails who accept people in custody, inmates on their behalf, until they can, get rid of the ones that they have at their jail. So they have to be notified some type of way. We can't just ride up in there with
Just show up.
somebody and just show up, because then they gonna be on high alert. Like, okay, who is this? Where are you coming from? But every jail I've been to, before you actually get to the jail, there's like a guard bait you have to go through, because they literally check our vehicles, check um our person. They shine a flashlight to who we got in the car so they can see, and they'll literally radio before they even let us, before they open to the gate to let us inside of Fulton County. Their radio, they'll say, Fulton County, we have Hateville, unit 131 coming through with one black male in custody, or two black males, or whatever she has. If I'm in the transport van or in my personal unit, one black male in custody coming through. There, once they radio that in, I then radio dispatch, say, hey, I'm 26 at Fulton County. 26 means I've arrived on scene. Then we go in the jail, and every jail I've been to have a salad port. That's where you go in, you put your police car in the salad port. This is just like a big garage, like a house garage. It's a huge garage with a lot of lights. Um, you turn your car off. You get out of your vehicle. Before you get out the vehicle, you radio that in. 131 is inside the salad port, getting out the vehicle, especially if I have one that's still in custody in the back seat. I have to take off my duty belt. They have lockers. Every salad port I've been to have lockers for police officers. We put all our weapons in there. Somebody from the jail comes outside of the jail and greets me and whoever I have in custody. They look us over. I give them, if I have a warrant, if I arrested him on a warrant, or if I arrested him on a ticket, I give them the paperwork. They verify that whatever name I have on the paperwork is this person. Sometimes it's John Doe or Jane Doe. If they won't give us the information, we just write John Doe, Jane Doe. They fingerprint them in the jail, then they'll find out who they actually are. They evaluate them. That's before they even take them in the jail. So now I'm thinking, if this all happened, they get arrived to the jail, and then the police start. The police for 33 minutes did not have eyes on the person that he had in custody, that he was responsible for, or for 33 minutes he already knew he was gone. Panic,
Yes.
didn't know what else to do, decided to go into the jail, and then try to do life-saving procedures at that time, knowing that none of this is going to work because he's been gone for 33 minutes. Um, but every jail
Very
that I
possible.
have been to,
Yeah.
that's how it happens. You just not gonna just show up. They know, because they have to. What the biggest issue with us was, are they gonna take this person? Do they have room to take this person? Especially with juveniles, we've always had to call, because most of the time they won't even take the juvenile. They didn't have room for it, or they say send them back home to their mom or somewhere, because
Yeah.
they don't have enough points for us to take them into custody. But I've not seen a situation where you can literally just show up at a jail with somebody and say, hey, I want to drop this person off. I've not seen it.
Okay, so when the jail is getting that call and know that somebody's en route, they go ahead and start paperwork to intake them at that point.
Now they can. So most of the time they'll wait on that because something could happen. Where they like, okay, we're gonna wait till they get here, and they'll come because they don't want to start the paperwork, and then like I have been en route to jail to take somebody to jail, and then dispatchers say 131, bring him back. He has been bonded out. So
Mhm.
situations like that, I've seen other situations where it says, "Hey, it was a clerical error. The warrant is dull, is no good. It's a clerical error. Bring them back." So because of those reasons, and that because Fulton County Jail houses inmates from every city in that county, so they get in this
Mhm.
multiple times a day. So most of the time they wait until the person actually shows up. I don't know how it is in Monroeville, but most of the time they wait till we get there till they actually see the warrant, till they actually see the ticket, and then they do the evaluation. Sometimes they have their every jail I've been to drop off an inmate. There've always been a nurse present. Sometimes the nurse comes out with the deputy. Sometimes the nurse meets the inmate inside once we get inside of the jail. But um,
What are they
everybody
allowed to do though? Let's say they
they
did have a
just
medical person there. What were they allowed to do? What would they have
the
been allowed to do to T?
only thing I've seen medical units do is to ask them questions, and based on the answers the inmate gives to the nurse, they'll say, "Okay, we'll take him or not." If they ask them, "Have you been hurt, injured?" If there are visible injuries on them, they automatically gonna tell us, "No, we're not gonna take him. Take him to Grady. We're not gonna take him at this point." But now, if I would have brought somebody in, which I never have, I don't know of any officer personally who ever have. But if you bring somebody in and they clearly unresponsive, I'm sure medical personnel would do everything they can to start life-saving procedures. So I'm sure if they had a nurse there, a jail nurse is what we called them, a jail nurse there, then she probably would have did the same thing, started life-saving procedures. Everybody there would have probably tried to
That's why
step
I'm
in.
thinking, did anybody even try CPR on him? It seems like the only life-saving issue done was the Narcan.
I
And that's
Well,
on
believe.
an
she
assumption.
said now that is one thing she. If you go back to her statement, she did say that they immediately started. What was her phrase exactly? They started medical. I mean, I'm gonna get
Aid.
exactly how
They
she
offered
worded
medical aid to him.
medical aid. Now I don't know what
Yeah.
that medical aid was or
I,
is.
yeah. I personally believe so. I believe any officer, anybody who would have saw anybody, any human being present saw somebody unresponsive, in need of help, distress, I believe they would have tried to do something.
Do something.
Because the people at the jail don't know what has just happened. The only person know is the officer who's bringing them. So all they know is, hey, he done brought somebody in here who's unresponsible. So they probably all going, let's come help. What's going on? And while they're doing these life-saving procedures, they're probably asking the officer questions. Well, what happened? Where did he come from? Where was y'all at? What was y'all doing? When did this happen? He was tased? No, we not taking him. What? He was pepper sprayed? They probably asking, from what I have seen, they're probably asking all these questions like, hey, what's wrong with him?
So
He
Frida,
got
I
his
hear
whole.
one of my sources tells me that the chief of police as well as the investigator showed up at the jail that day.
Oh
Is that
wow. I never
common
heard
or
of
is
that.
that uncommon?
It's very uncommon. I've never heard of when a chief well, I guess the in custody death. I guess the chief
Well, he
would
wasn't.
show up. I've never
Well,
seen it.
supposedly dead at that point, but
Okay. Uh to show up at the jail, that would make me think something happened at the jail that
Perhaps
the
we need to
police
get
was
our stories together. Perhaps we need to
yeah,
find. I need more information, guys. What happened?
yeah,
What happened here? Like,
yeah. We need more
another thing I just
understanding.
noticed tonight, though, with that dispatch report, previously
yeah.
I had been reading it as if that was a police officer talking to dispatch, but it seems like that actually was dispatch talking to EMS.
Hmm. Yeah,
And so
rarely
we
are we
actually
talking.
don't know the conversation between the police officer and dispatch. Oh,
Yeah,
it does say that. I guess I don't know. I just kind of always, I don't know, I guess looked over that 911 dispatch to EMS.
yeah.
So we don't know the conversation exactly between the police officer and dispatch.
Absolutely. That's correct.
There's two different dispatch laws. Police officers don't talk to the medical units over the radio, and the medical units do not talk to police officers over the radio. Police officers only talk to dispatch. The med units only talk to dispatch, and dispatch talks to us both. When you get the dispatch log for this incident, you're gonna have to ask for the EMT dispatch log, and then you're gonna have to ask for the law enforcement dispatch log. There's
Ah,
different dispatch laws, and then there's the what
okay.
we call the in-house log.
And then
The
there would be two
in-house,
different dispatches, right? So would the police
right,
have talked
right.
to their dispatch? Would their dispatch have called 911's dispatch?
Right, right. Like
Oh,
what the agency I worked for, like it's two or three dispatchers in there, or four. You're gonna
okay.
have one dispatcher talking to police, and then you have one dispatcher talking to the med units, and then you're gonna have another dispatcher talking to whatever citizen that's calling for whatever reason, and all of it is regarding the same incident. Then you're gonna have the in-house
Mm.
dispatch log, which is the what's going on in house, like dispatch will type in it's called the CAD log, CAD.
CAD,
um
yeah,
yeah, the CAD
yeah.
log, that's all in
Hmm.
house. The CAD log, basically dispatch is saying, okay, 131 called, and then this dispatch is, what's the dispatch supervisor name, it's a name for it, but she's the one who's doing the in-house dispatch log, which is the in-house log is the one that's putting everything together that has to be communicated separately in order to keep everything in order. I hope this is making sense.
Yeah, but that's
So-
wasting so many precious minutes
So
doing
much
all
time.
that.
Yeah,
Like
Yes.
yeah.
that is,
No, it
I'm
sounds like that, but it keeps it in order because
I
it'll
mean, I
get too
understand the
confusing. Right.
necessity, but it's just like when there's a life on the line, though, it's
Yeah.
just like you
They
have to
weren't
tell
moving fast enough, quick
tell
enough for
me,
me.
you can tell
I'm like,
her
what is all this
thing so they
standing
can
on?
tell them. It's just like that.
Yeah,
Just when it's a life on
Yeah.
the line, especially when like it says that the patient is unresponsive, the patient has a faint pulse or not breathing. It's like
yeah.
those are precious seconds, you
Right.
know.
Over the radio, it sounds like that, but from when you see it, when I've seen it work, because like as a civilian, like hearing this and seeing this, I can see how, but it's so they're so organized. Like once you see it all together, you will see why it would have to be done that way. Um, because if you have, okay, I'm a police officer and I'm talking to this because there's so many different med units and there's so many different officers on the scene. So they have to have a dedicated line for the police and a dedicated line for EMS. So it won't be, imagine all of this coming over the radio and different people saying the same thing at the same time. It would be confusing. So that's why they have the CAD law to bring it all together. So, but it's, I can see how it
Okay.
sounds like it's taking so much time, but for me, working part time and helping out dispatch, when they have gotten busy, I can see the way they do it is the most efficient way that I've seen it to be done, and it works. I can't think of a better way because if they had 131, because you that the if they keep it separated, that means we can both key up at the same time. I can be calling a dispatch and talking to a dispatcher, and med units can be doing it at the same time. And then they have the CAD, the dispatch supervisor bringing it all together in the notes. The CAD log is
Wow.
all the notes that is going on while the
So there
audio is
needs to
going
be a
on.
cross reference, Steph, of all
Yeah,
these different logs
I
to
mean,
see
it
in
seems like
time.
it's a lot of
Yeah,
documentation for us not to get any documentation.
I'm telling you,
It
there's
You
a lot
know,
sounds
here.
like
So many holes in this.
yeah,
So
I
many
like what
holes.
she said. It's a lot of documentation for us not to have a lot of
Any
That's so
document, yeah,
true.
right.
like
Yeah,
not,
That's
because
you
it.
that's
know,
what I was saying at the beginning. There's dispatch logs, CAD logs, dash cams, body cams, salary cam. This all this information exists right now. It didn't disappear. It is here. At the minimum, I
So,
believe
so Frida, you said that that the fact that they were standing out there, the chief of
mhm.
police and the investigator allegedly came to the jail. When would there ever be a time that you yourself, as a sergeant, would show up on the scene? Like, because they showed up. Is it a death situation? Do you always show up for that? Or was there maybe something special about this one?
No, any death that happens under my watch, I'm going to show up. It was it's
Okay.
a self-inflicted, under somebody who unalive themselves, somebody who owned an overdose, because I'm responsible to make sure it's handled correctly. Because we don't know if foul play is involved or not. It can look like a suicide to me. It can look like a drug overdose to me. It can look like all of this to me and my officers. So I need to make sure I'm on scene in case foul play is found to be involved. Once the autopsy come back and say, hey, this person didn't OD, somebody drugged them to death or somebody poisoned them. So any death, if I'm just thinking, if I was the sergeant in charge of the shift on that night, and the officer came over the radio unresponsive at the Sally Port at Fulton County Jail, um, I would be en route to that officer to that jail. Now I say that, but supervisors are not allowed to leave the city because then the city would be left unwatched. But I'm just saying this because I'm imagining in Monroeville, the jail is inside the city of Monroeville. So
it
as a
is.
supervisor, I would be en route to that jail to figure out what is going on. Any death under my watch or any supervisor watch. So I can see why the chief, it is highly unusual because at the jail, I'm sure the sheriff would have probably been notified too. So now you have the chief and the sheriff here, like, okay, we have an under responsive individual in the Sally port. Or the chief, I can see him saying, well, was he inside of our jail? And if they say no, then I can see the sheriff saying, okay, we'll let the police handle it. So I can see it going either way. But as a sheriff, just because it was on the property, even though the body wasn't inside of the jail, but because the body was on the property of the jail, I would want to be on scene as well.
Right. Like I wouldn't want to just wash my hands away because
Uh,
he's in custody. Because even though they're in the jail, he's still in custody of Monroeville Police Department because they didn't turn him over. So he's in your
yeah.
custody, but you're on my property.
Yeah, how we did it is you're in my custody while my handcuffs are on you. Once
Right.
we get you to the jail to the Sally Port, how they literally do it is the deputy would come out with their handcuffs. While they're still handcuffed with my handcuffs on the inmate, they will be in the process of putting their handcuffs on the inmate at the same time. After they
Okay.
put their handcuffs on the inmate, I then would go and take my handcuffs off the inmate. And then at that point, that person is now in the Fulton County Jail's custody.
And that
Once
never
the
happened in
cuffs,
this case. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. They
So,
never
right.
transported.
So,
They
yeah,
never turned him over to the
right.
sheriff. It was
Yeah,
always in
that's
custody
how
of
we
Monroeville.
always
Yeah.
determine who custody it was in. Is whoever handcuffs was his hands was in. That's who is responsible for it. Even on
Wow.
just regular arrest on the street. Okay, who cuffs is on this person? Okay, because most police officer handcuffs have their badge number engraved in them. Because cuffs get strewn around and missing all the time. So most officers put their badge number on the cuffs. So if they look at the cuffs on the person in custody, it says 131. They're gonna say, Smith, this is yours, and then I be responsible for that individual. So that's how we did it here in Georgia, unless they have a better way of doing it. But how we determine who's responsible for what person is in custody is who handcuffs is on this person. That's who is responsible for that person.
All right. I have a question of the night. All right, this is where you guys come in. We're going to get to our game in a minute because we're almost done, guys, but we want to make sure. I want to hear from you guys. Do you believe the chief of police should be fired? Now, if the answer to that is yes, that means that you agree to these reasons. And obviously, if the answer is no, you feel like she deserves another opportunity to prove herself. But based on everything that we presented tonight, that is still alleged, but now her statement isn't. When we put the statement next to the video, that's where we come up with everything we've talked about tonight. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you believe that the chief of police should be fired. For one, failure to ensure accountability. Okay. Lack of transparency, meaning the statement that she was made, and then poor leadership and judgment by whatever may have happened after that. Do you believe that she should be fired? Do my guests want to answer that question? I already got two answers right here already. Yes, yes. What do you think, Stephanie?
I think that at this point, yes, because she not only put this statement out, and I believe she definitely put it out under false pretenses. She's had 4 months, matter of fact, 4 months to the day today since she put that statement out to try to give the community, the families, some type of clarification. I feel like at this point that she has kind of stood behind or hid behind Nalia's investigation. From my understanding, she has another full-time job. Now, I don't know her personally, so I am definitely judging from the outside in. But it seems like there is and I've heard this from a lot of just independent people, that she is also the full-time basketball coach of the local community college in Monroe.
That is correct.
And a police chief is a full-time job on its own, and I think it's definitely one of those jobs that requires more than a 40-hour work week in itself. I feel like the time in which she put those officers back to duty, that why the Aaliyah investigation was still going on. Maybe she had more time on her hand, they could have actually at least did a little more due diligence in ensuring that those police officers were cleared. She could have came on and taken a shift, much like when you have charge nurses and things like that. And if somebody doesn't come in, then you may end up staying and have to work a double shift or something like that, because that's your responsibility as the leader. And so I think from what I'm seeing, the lack of apology, the lack of empathy, the fact that she put out the statement and you want to say that he had warrants to try to give the impression that, oh, he's just another criminal, so you don't really have to care about him. From all angles that I'm seeing here, it's just, it doesn't look professional, and it doesn't look like, there is compassion, to be honest with you. I just don't see it.
Very well said. Now, Frida, you just learned that she has another job. Now I'm going to ask you the question. Do you believe the chief of police should be fired?
Personally, my answer would be yes. Personally, based on the press release and calling Aaliyah about an incident, and then 2 days later saying without incident. Personally, I believe she should be fired. Procedurally, I believe she should be on administrative leave until all the totality of the circumstances come out, just to give her the benefit of the doubt, just in case something weird pops off. That's procedurally, but I don't know. My mentor, who's been my mentor for over 15 years, is was a chief in Atlanta. He's a retired Atlanta chief, and I remember him telling me that chief, because I remember telling him I want to be chief of police one, and now I have no desire to be a chief of any police department. But when I remember him telling me they're not allowed to work any part-time or full-time job, because at the point his daughter was going to college, and I remember talking to him about it, and he was like, he wished he could get another job. And I'm like, get one. He said no. In Georgia, chiefs are not allowed to have any other job outside of being a chief, because there's a conflict of interest. Because now, what if one of her basketball players commit a crime? What if one of her coaches commit a crime? And she's going to try to protect them, her players, because she's the chief of police. So there's just a huge conflict of interest right there with her having that other full-time job. But procedurally, just because you just want due press to allow itself to take its course, I think it's unfair to the citizens. Personally, if somebody asked me, I would say, hell yes, I think she should most definitely be fired. But procedurally, let's get all the facts together. It's a trip to me that the body cameras exist, the dash cameras exist, the cats exist, all of this stuff exists. And as far as I know, the family has not seen it. Even under George Floyd, while it was being investigated, Benjamin Crump got it to a point where at least the family, even though it wasn't made public yet, they allowed the family to at least see all of these videos. I remember that happening because I was like, that's good. That's transparency. And so that's my thing. At least all this stuff exists right now. I'm like, at least let the family know that, to give them some type of peace, to know which direction, to something to expect, what to expect out of it. But personally, my answer would be yes. But procedurally, let this go. Even though she's not using proper procedure, I guess we should still use proper procedure. But police officers are not even allowed to make false police reports. If we write anything in the police report that's false, it's literally in the SOP. You will be terminated.
Yes.
If you make a false police report, you will be terminated. That's literally in the SOP. False police reports will get you terminated, but she can make a false press release and still keep her job.
Say it.
So, but because the only thing that I'm just holding back procedures because we just don't have everything. And even though what we see, we know it contradicts each other. And I know it contradicts each other. I just like, okay, let's know everything. Maybe she, for some reason, didn't see the video. I don't know. I don't believe that, but
that if she could have seen that without watching the video, that's incompetence. And
here's where I am. Here's where I am, guys.
Yes.
Now, I don't think Mandy is alone in this. I think that she was coached. They put her up as a pawn to put this out there to see how it lands. See if this will stick. I think that's why she's not fired, because she did what she was told to do. I think there is collusion within the Monroeville Police Department on all of this stuff that we're seeing. Because when you see the Tri-City Ledger report coming out with the little dirt they don't want to put in the Monroe Journal, we already know about that. When you see all of this other little stuff with this play on, well, he was refusing to walk. It's like they had a whole media run of this narrative. Now, the media should have known better, because the media should have looked at that video and said, yes, Miss May, because basically what they did, they just regurgitated everything she said. Why do we have you, media? You're supposed to find out, okay, let me compare what you're saying to this video. There's a video online, Miss Mandy, that shows that he was not walking and talking to officers when he got in that vehicle. Now, what do you have to say about that? You just showed the video and then you let her say that statement. They contradict each other. She should definitely be fired, but she should not be the only one. Number one, she failed to train her guys. She failed to train her guys, so she should be fired for that. Her guys should have been written up, at least see if they even qualify. These guys might not have even had training. We don't even know if they passed APOSTC. We don't even know if they've been approved through that. So many times people hire people because they just got a need, right? Well, look, we just need somebody. They don't look to see if they're qualified. That's number one. Then I think that the mayor should go right with her. I think he should go right with her. Why? Because now he's showing his hand. This is a police. Don't make this personal, bro. This is not personal. You saw that this woman lied on this because all he had to do was look at the video. Like, don't blame her for that. That's on you. With the experience that you have, Mayor, with you came highly recommended and all of this, you should have known better. Let me fall, because somebody died. This is not somebody's leg got broken. This is not somebody's house got broken into or anything. We're talking about someone who is dead as a result, allegedly, of something your officers may have done. You should have cared because you made promises too. See, Mandy wasn't elected. She's just there because you allowed her to still be there. You personally, Mayor, allowed her to be there. So you should be fired because of your inability to manage her. And then I think you should be fired because of your inability to manage the department and everything you're responsible. And then you take and put them back to work. All of y'all, this is all a cluster F from all of you. because nobody checked, nobody looked at the logs. Because if you guys looked at this situation, simply because he died, you should have moved differently. Simply because he died, and it was on video. You know, and it's just like, you guys knew better than that. So yeah, I think she should be fired. I think the mayor should be out of there. And anybody that replaces him, if they're not ready to do anything, they should be out of there. I personally think you should just get rid of all of them. I don't think anyone in Monroeville has stepped up to the plate to do anything about this. And now the DA is sitting here, sir, please don't try to slow roll this. Please don't try to sit on it. Please don't try to get SBS to hold on to it, SBI to hold on to it as long as possible. I hope you're doing the right thing, because I know you got some conflicting stuff. I know you got some discrepancies, because we found them and we don't even work for you. You're welcome. Okay. So here's the thing. You have to be mindful of that. And you got to really look at this. I know Monroeville doesn't want to get sued. I know Monroeville doesn't want to feel the pain and the burn. I know you don't want your city looked upon as a city that kills its citizens. I know you don't want that. But she isn't the first one. You guys know that, right? Johnny D, everybody knows about that one because we're making sure they remember, right? So Johnny D and the way you guys handle that, not saying that was MPD because that was county, but Monroeville itself, you don't get to separate. They look at Monroeville at the end of the day. And you guys have to pay for this. I don't really care how you pay for it, but you have to pay for this. You have to pay for it because this man was not supposed to die that day. I don't care what anyone thinks about what you think you know about this young man. They did not follow proper protocol, and that is why he's dead. Whether it was personal, whether it was we're just mad, we went too far. Maybe they went too far and didn't try to kill him, but they just went too far. That's your emotions. Because if you just did your job, you would have just put him in handcuffs and put him in the car. You didn't, whatever happened in those woods, and we don't know, but maybe you misjudged, and now he's dead, and now y'all got to figure out what to do. And now you got Mandy, and you got the investigator, and all y'all sitting around at the jail because you tried to put it off on them and get him in there. And now everybody's just sitting around, and you got poor little T laying in the backseat of a car, probably still face down, like his life doesn't matter. This infuriates me, and every time I have to explain it, it just new stuff comes out of me. Yes, she should be fired. She should have been fired. And not only should she be fired and the mayor replaced, but now you need DOJ in there and go through the entire police department. And I'm not just talking about MPD, I'm talking about the sheriff's office too. Yes, because they got their own issues. So there needs to be some kind of oversight. And whoever goes, please make sure your hands are not dirty, because Monroeville needs help. They have an issue there with policing. There are too many people that have been in my inbox crying and upset about how they've been treated and talked to by the police and the sheriff in Monroeville. So this plea right here on the Ella Johnson Show, this is about all of y'all. All of y'all. Somebody needs to go in there and handle all of y'all. That's my opinion. Yes, she should be fired.
Absolutely.
So I am just, oh, somebody said Frisco City too. See what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. Frisco City too. Look how they did Charles Dale. You need to talk more about your case too, Miss Ella. Okay. My case? Okay. I got a case. Yeah. I had a nephew. I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe you know something else. Are they coming for me? Are they coming for me free? Is that what's going on?
Oh, you be careful now.
Yeah. But no, I have a nephew.
Who is Charles Dale? I haven't heard of him.
I don't know his story. James, can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I would love to know about it. I have no problem talking about it. That's for sure. Renee says, time for the good old boy system to be over. That's right, Renee. She
Absolutely,
said it
Renee.
perfectly. Yes. It's time. But guess what? It takes all of us, guys. We can't be the only one talking about it. So, Stephanie, tell everybody, because I know you mentioned we want to definitely encourage people that know something to talk. Let's tell everybody about that while I get our game ready.
So that, as we mentioned here tonight, there are a lot of timestamps that are involved. Right now, they have not been forthcoming with any evidence. We see that Mandy put this statement out, and she made certain accusations, she made certain claims with nothing to back it up. So if you know something, if you recorded some footage, and I know especially the fact that they put those police officers back on active duty, sometimes that in itself can be an intimidation tactic, whether they intended for that to be or not. But if you know something, check your video cameras. If you have Ring cameras that was pointed to the street during that time, because we would like solid evidence that shows that even when they left that day, they went the opposite direction versus going straight to the detention center. And again, those were precious minutes that could have potentially made a life-saving change in this case. But we need independent timestamps. Now, we already have it. Thank God for those two videos that surfaced, because I do strongly believe with all of my heart, had you not recorded those videos, had you not posted them and shared them, we wouldn't even be talking here today.
Yeah.
They would have, all of this would be swept under the rug. It would just be another sad story that would have made its circles in Monroeville, a little bit out of Monroeville. I would have heard about it. We would have shook our head and said that was too bad, and there would be nothing that we could prove. But the fact that already people stood up and they recorded that and they shared it, but we need to put independent timestamps on things. So, and I don't even care if you work at the Dollar General store that's right down there in Clausdale, or if you know somebody that work at that gas station, go back to March 30th of this year, check the around 2:30 and afterwards. I'm going to even say before 2:30. Check the time the police officers that somebody was going down that way. I don't know if he came up. What street is that right there? Is that Claiborne? Going towards Clausdale? I don't know if they came like from the golf course way before they actually went into Clausdale Road and then went to Ringo Street, where they eventually saw T, or if they was traveling on that main street that takes you downtown. Went past the Dollar General, that went past that gas station, that went past Jones Funeral Home. And y'all see, I know this area very well.
Yes, you do.
I know it like the back of my hand.
Yes, you do.
Ella, like where this happened at, I played there as a child. Like I know where those woods connect. I know how it connects to the other side. And so it disturbed my spirit, and I just don't understand why this happened. It didn't have to happen this way. It did not. And I'm going to even go as far as to say the fact that, Mandy had the audacity to put that statement out there with nothing to back it up. The fact that like, even if he saw that police officer and ran, for all we know, he could have been afraid of you for some reason. We don't know. We don't know at this point. You don't have any evidence, we don't know. And what we do know is that you want to say that he had warrants, and you put nothing out there again to back it up. So I said all of that to say, again, check your footage, check your phone, like whoever recorded these videos that we already have, we need to know exactly the timestamps that you recorded those videos on. Like we need to know for sure. So if you want to contact Miss Sharon, Miss Ella, if you want to contact me, Frida, we promise you that your information will not be revealed. Your identity will not be revealed. But we need to independently have this information, and we need to verify it, and we need to make note of it. If you witness anything, we need to get that like on paper recorded, because eyewitness testimony over time does become less reliable. And if you don't talk about it, even sometimes our own recollection of events can falter, and so.
And everything can help. Don't think that whatever you have may not be
small. Nothing is too small on this. Yeah, absolutely nothing. So if you think it's nothing, you never know what you saw.
Are y'all ready to have some fun? All right, guys. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have our little trivia. There's only 10 questions, and I think the way we're gonna do this, Frida and Steph, is I want to do 3 prizes, so more than one person can win something. We're going to do a $5, $10, $15. And you guys are going to have to get your pens out and take note of the people that's that's answering, because I'm going to be reading the questions. So as soon as I read the question,
I don't have a key.
guess what we'll do is the people with the most correct answers, and we'll do that by 3. The most, the least, the next 2 and 3. Y'all got it? In other words, we're going to see who had the most correct answers. And the way we judge it is, how do we judge it? Because all somebody got to do is just keep answering whatever somebody else says. I guess it can be the first answer, right? Let's do that. The person who answers first and answers first the most is the one that wins the $15 prize. So we got prize one is $5, second prize is $10, third prize is $15, and you will get it tonight. You will get it tonight. All you got to do is inbox me your cash out, and I'm sending them out. Okay, is that fair enough? We're good. All right, so let's get ready to get started, guys. Y'all get ready. So what's going to happen is I'm going to ask the question before I bring it up. So y'all don't try to Google it because you don't have time, because somebody may know these answers right away. Okay, I'm going to have to be able to say who answered it correctly. Let me get.
Do I need to get some Jeopardy music ready on the background?
Oh man, if we have some music, let me see if I can bring us some music in the background. Because that's right, girl. We gotta have some music. We gotta have.
I can do a Jeopardy sound real quick. I got humming.
You got it.
Now, Frida, where you at? You can hum. You got those music skills over there. Yeah, I got the hard music to play right. Oh, okay, that's nice.
That's good.
That's good, right? Okay. Okay, so let's take this out of the way and let's get started.
Oh, that's AI singing. That's not me singing.
So what time frame do they have to answer between the time you ask
whoever answers first? That whoever you see coming up, because y'all can see the answers. Whoever answers first, mark them down, and then whoever has the most first is the one that wins the big prize, and then we go from there. Okay. All right. So I want to pull this up so I can see. All right. Here's the first question. Which Supreme Court case ruled that racially restrictive housing covenants could not be enforced by courts? Which Supreme Court case ruled that racially restrictive housing covenants could not be enforced by courts? Guys, I'm giving y'all multiple choice. So just guess.
A, B, C, or D.
A, B, C, or D. That's all you got to type. A, B, C, or D. Which case ruled that racially restrictive housing covenants could not be enforced by courts? And this is a case where I think that someone moved into what was considered a white neighborhood, and someone in that neighborhood tried to sue them, and they tried to use their made-up agreement. That's wrong, Kemp. They tried to use their made-up agreement to enforce, for the courts to enforce, and the court's like, no, we're not gonna back discrimination. Just because you made an agreement doesn't mean we're going to be honest.
I don't even know the answer to this question.
Wait a minute. Rochelle said, okay, yeah. Who said, nobody has answered correctly yet.
So we have Brown, C, A,
and this is the toughest one, guys. That's why I started with this. So we're going to give it like 5 seconds in it. If they don't, okay, it is, no one has answered yet.
Let's go by process of elimination.
All right, so 5 more seconds. That's all y'all got. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up on this one. The answer is B. Shelley versus Kramer.
Well, Miss Sharon came in. I feel like maybe last second right there.
Yeah, you know you late. But Shelley versus Kramer. That is the answer. All right, guys, we're gonna move to the next one. Y'all pay attention now, because the first person that answers correctly is the person who gets it. Time's up, Maddie. Sorry, all y'all saying B now. I kind of, after I said it, don't work like that.
All right, let's
go to the next one. So nobody got that one. Next question. Before Rosa Parks, which 15-year-old Alabama girl refused to give up her seat on a Montgomery bus but was not chosen as the face of the boys' boycott? Who was it? Y'all don't know the answer to this?
She passed away this year.
She sure did.
Mm-hmm.
We have 5 more seconds on this one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, it's Claudette Colvin. Claudette Colvin, A. Well, y'all got to brush up on y'all Black history. Thank you, Josephine. Too late. Too late. No, these are tough questions. I get it. I mean, because a lot of this stuff is something that you. The only reason I know it
is a lot of people, and I knew that one, but a lot of people don't even know that it was somebody before.
There was somebody before Rosa Parks, and the reason is because this girl was a young girl. She was like a teenager, right, Steph? And they didn't want her to be the face because she was she was a fighter. She was feisty. She kind of fought.
And plus, Rosa was a bit more
quiet secretary. Looked like, oh, look at the poor little nice Black lady, and somebody's being to her, you know, and it worked. It worked. All right. The next question. Which U.S. Supreme Court decision established the separate but equal doctrine that legalized segregation? Which one is it? Do you guys know? Which one is it? I got to actually go look at this, see the answer. Thank you for the music. Okay. Which federal agency was created? Do we have the answer? Who answered? Did anybody answer C?
Let me go back.
I see Sharon answered C, right? So Sharon got that one right. Let's give that one to Sharon.
Yes, she did.
She made C, and that is correct. Plessy versus Ferguson. That is correct. All right, y'all ready for the next one? The famous Greensboro sit-ins began when 4 Black college students refused to leave what type of business? What type of business? Let's see. Let's look at the comments. There's enough needless. Famous Greensboro sit-ins began when 4 Black college students refused to leave what type of business?
I'm gonna give us a little more different music.
That is wrong, Sharon. It's not the movie theater. Rochelle said no. I don't know what he said no to. James Nicholson says B. That is incorrect.
Oh, come on now.
Renee Stevens got it. She got it. It was the lunch counter. So that was a Renee Stevens one. She won that one. All right. Let's keep going. Josephine, I'm sorry, boo-boo. You're just a little late. Sharon, you're just a little late too. All right, next one. Before the Civil Rights Act of 1964, what was one of the biggest concerns for Black families traveling long distances? Running out of gas, finding a safe hotel or restaurant that would serve them, crossing state lines, or buying automobile insurance? Nita Ann is correct. Finding a safe hotel or restaurant that would serve them. That is correct. Right. So that's Nita. She got that one.
Everybody tired at this point.
The next one here is, what food item did many Black travelers rely on bringing from home because they often couldn't safely stop to eat while traveling during segregation? Joe Sherman, what were you answering? Are you answering this question, Joe Sherman? I want to be fair. Are you answering this question as A, Joe Sherman? The answer is definitely A. So Joe Sherman had it first, actually, because I saw it up there. He said A. So it's fried chicken. I don't know how we give that one. We got several people saying fried chicken, but Joe actually had said it first. Joe did say it first. I saw his A up there. Okay. All right. We're almost done, guys. I think we got maybe one more.
We got a 4-way tie right now.
Okay. Before the Civil Rights Act of 1964, many restaurants in the South could legally refuse service based on what? What is the answer? Based on what, guys? Before the Civil Rights Act, many restaurants in the South could legally refuse service based on what? Yes, race. Thank you, Sharon. That's Sharon's.
All right, Miss Sharon, you got 2.
Here we go. There we go. Next question. Which Alabama city became known worldwide for the Montgomery bus boycott? Y'all better not lose this one. Hey, if y'all lose, I'm packing it up. I'm taking off my wig on live TV. Y'all don't get this one. Wait a minute. What? Montgomery? Which Alabama city became known worldwide for the Montgomery bus?
It's not a trick question.
Montgomery bus boycott. What?
I'm gonna say Atlanta.
I think they think it's a trick question.
Oh, okay. Sharon gets that one. Montgomery. That was a trick question. Thank you, Sharon. All right, we got another one here. What national restaurant chain became famous for sit-ins led by Black college students fighting segregation? What national restaurant chain? Rochelle said C. That is correct. Woolworths. So Rochelle got that one. Sorry, James, you were just a little late. So James got that one.
She's just making her way on the leaderboard. Is that what you have too?
Guys.
Yeah, I have Sharon 3, Renee, Netta, Joe, and Rochelle at 1.
Okay.
All right, guys. So we're the last question. During the Jim Crow era, what frozen dessert were many Black children not allowed to buy at some? That's right. Jeter's got it. Ice cream. That's it. She knew that one. She was like, "Girl, I don't even need
that homemade ice cream."
Yep, that is correct. Ice cream.
People now.
Was that fun, guys? That was good. I mean, I think it's important for us to know our history. I mean, those are just
we don't have clear winners here. Well, Miss Sharon, I think she's won definitely first place, but I don't know how you're gonna do second and third.
We need to have a runoff. What do we do? You guys come up with the question. So Sharon is the winner of the $15. So we got that. Now we have people fighting for the $5 and the $10. So we need some kind of tiebreaker or some kind of thing here.
All right. Well, so we'll have to restrict the answers now to Jeter, Rochelle, Joe, Nita, and Renee.
Okay.
So that they can buy it out for second and third place. Okay. It's just restricted to them.
So what question do we want to come up with?
Let's see.
I got a good one. What is the number that I told you guys to do a hashtag for? What is the number that we started the show with on the hashtag? What was that number? First person that says it out of those names that Stephanie just listed will win the $10. The first person that, but we still gotta figure it out. All right, 33, Sharon.
Wait a minute.
Sharon, you're not Sharon.
You're supposed to answer.
Oh my God,
you already won first place.
You done already won. Okay, we got to come up with something else. What else can we come up with?
Let me see.
Come up with something, Frida.
I was about to say what's the name of the street that Tunstall was dragged on, something like that, or the time that the call was.
Everybody know that. Yeah, everybody did.
Yeah, they may not. Yeah, because I will say, especially me knowing being on that street for a long time, like I didn't know the actual, like I knew Marengo Street, but I didn't know that that street that went into the housing community me what that one was.
Yeah, I didn't
named.
either. It's too late, Jeter. We got to come up with something else because Miss Sharon.
I got a question. Who said to go out and get into trouble? Good trouble.
Mm-hmm. That's
a
good.
good one. That's a good one. Who said to go out and get in good trouble?
Yeah. I used to pass out his
Oh no, okay, now we're on a different question, guys. Who is the congressman that said go out and get in good trouble?
Miss Sharon, you can't answer any more questions though.
Right.
Yeah, Miss Sharon, you all out of turn, all out of whack. Y'all gonna answer that question? What congressman said it? Can I give him a hint? His first letter, the letter of his first name starts with a J.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody? Okay, you might have to come up with another question, Stephanie.
Okay, what was Obama's campaign slogan during his first run?
That's a good one. Nobody? Ooh. Joe Biden. What?
No, Joe Biden didn't say
that. Was his slogan?
No, we said because we do have like two questions that's out there. So if you can answer either of those two questions. The first one was
no, Joe Biden was not the person that
trouble,
said that
good trouble, or what was
Obama's
campaign slogan during his first? There you go,
Rochelle.
we
can. Look at Rochelle.
All right, so Rochelle got our second place winner. Let's go, Miss Rochelle. All right. Second place there. Miss Sharon is in first. All right, Rita,
so we're looking for that
one more
third
question
place
to
winner.
get our third place.
Who ran the Underground Railroad?
There you go.
Say it again.
That's a good one.
Who started the Underground Railroad?
Okay. Matter of fact, the song I was just playing,
Underground Railroad.
The movie about
Michelle,
her.
we already got you, boo. You got second place. You're good. We got you. But now we have another question on the table. Rochelle, you can't answer. Sharon, you can't answer. Who can answer? Who are the people that were in second? Who were up for?
Oh, hold on. Yeah. So it's and the only people that can really answer here is Jeter, Joe, Nita, and Renee. Y'all are fighting for our third place winners.
Who started the Underground Railroad? Rosa Parks. No.
And Miss Rochelle, you can't answer anyway.
Right.
You can't answer, Rochelle. You can't
answer, but
and you're all wrong anyway. But no, that's not. It's not Rosa Parks. All right, guys. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3. Tim back. Who the hell is that?
There you go. All right, Joe. Ding, ding, ding. We got it.
$5 to
Ballard. Joe. You meant Ballard, I know. But Joe got it. Harris Tubberell.
Harriet, but we know what you meant.
Right.
We know what you meant.
All right, that was fun. So first place we got Miss Sharon, second place Rochelle, and then third place is Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So do me a favor. Every single one of you right now, inbox me your Cash App. Inbox me your Cash App right now, and you will get that money tonight. $5 for our third place, $10 for our second place, $15 for our first place. You guys, hi, Renee. It's so good to see you, my friend. You see, you see this, Renee? Wait a minute. Let me pull it up. I want my friend to see this. The Renee that just did, you see this? Ella. She crocheted this entire blanket for me. And she just popped in.
Wow.
You see, Renee, that's how much I love you. I sit with this all the time.
That is
all
one
the time because it makes me think of my
friends.
friends.
Pastimes. I love crocheting.
Yeah, I love it. Love you so much, dear. All right, guys. Well, y'all send me your Cash App. We're gonna get out of here. We had a little bit longer than usual show tonight, but we did that on purpose. That's why we
come back
came
tomorrow. We do this again tomorrow. My treat.
Yeah, we're gonna come back tomorrow night. Here's our show for tomorrow night. We're gonna have a lieutenant here. Lieutenant James Carroll. I talked to him tonight right before we went live. This man has he's been on this movie. He has his own podcast. Like, he is really out there doing things, and y'all gonna he's just gonna be fun to sit here with us tomorrow night. He knows a little bit about what's going on. And we all know that when we bring people to the show, there's only so much they can talk about simply because, you know, we don't have all the stuff back. But he's going to share with us. This was your supervisor, right?
Yes,
Frida?
that's what I was about to say. He's my supervisor.
Yeah.
I was the sergeant. He's my lieutenant. He's retired now, but he still works part time as a law enforcement officer. But yeah, he's my supervisor, Lieutenant James Carroll. He's a
Wow.
wealth of knowledge, and he's an Army vet. But he's
And
a wealth
Army
of
vet.
knowledge. Yeah, wealth of
And he's
knowledge.
still working part-time in law
Yes,
enforcement as we speak.
yes,
So good for
yes.
him. All
Mhm.
right, guys, I have one more thing that I want to show y'all to make y'all's day good. You know, I got to be a little biased here. This is my precious grandbaby.
Oh my God, look at
Uh,
that picture,
So
Dr.
I
Amazing.
created this
Yes.
picture.
Dr.
Yes.
Messiah Johnson. I
His
like
name
that.
is Messiah for real. And
Mhm,
that's really how we spell it.
mhm,
And I did this because I just want to encourage people. You know, we
mhm.
all go through stuff, but I
Yes,
think that we got to grab our young people when they're
mhm,
like here at this age.
yes.
And we got to constantly remind them that they have
Mhm.
to see themselves the way God sees them. Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So I created this. I just put doctor because he's going to be
Mhm.
7 feet. He might be
Love
a
it.
basketball. I don't know. But
Mhm.
I saw that today and I said, what a great way to encourage people at the end of the show,
Yes.
Yes,
because
handsome.
how we see ourselves, it has a lot to do with how we speak and carry ourselves. So we
Right.
want our babies to start at this age. And some of y'all old folks need this lesson too. You got to look at yourself the way God sees you. Say, I am who God
God
says
says I
I
am.
am. All right,
Mhm.
guys.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's the end for our show. I
Mhm.
wish you were here with me. I just listen. I am, when it comes to my grandchildren, I am a sap. And I love this little baby right here. He just inspires me in ways he will never understand.
How old
So
is
I just
he?
wanted to, huh?
How old is
Five,
he now?
5 months old.
Oh,
Beautiful.
5 months old. And he was just with me the other night. And I
oh.
just love him. He's just love him. All right, before we get out of here, I want you guys to have your final words. Frida, tell us what you think about everything and what you feel about where we should go next on this.
My final words is refusal to walk should never, ever end up being dragged.
Mm.
All right. Stephanie, anything you want to say before we get out of
I'm
here?
gonna repeat a quote from Angela Davis. And she said that, you know, a lot of times that we, you know, and I've done this so many times, I've quoted the Serenity Prayer, but she said that I am no longer accepting the things that I cannot change. I am changing the things that I cannot accept.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Say that again. That's good.
I am no longer accepting the things that I cannot change. I am changing the things that I
I
cannot
can
accept.
no longer accept.
Oof. Oh, that gave me
Yes,
chills because you know what? That's what we're doing. We're
absolutely.
not accepting it. We're not
Absolutely.
accepting it. So y'all might as well get on board with us or move out of the way because we're not stopping this train. We cannot stop till we get justice for T. And on that note, guys,
Mhm.
we're gonna get out of here. We'll see you. I see you. I see Rochelle Cash App. You sent me that. And I see he's baddie girl. Baddie girl.
Hey.
Baddie girl. Now you know I need to know the story about why you call yourself baddie girl. I'm just saying, bro. And then I see Sharon is Sherry. Okay, so I got you guys. Y'all are gonna get that. And remind me, Sharon gets 15, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sharon
Rochelle
15,
10, Joe
Rochelle.
5.
All right, Joe.
I
I
will
need
be.
your
Yeah.
cash out, friend. Send it to me, and because we're getting ready to close the show, so go ahead and send it to my inbox. You guys will get that within the next 10 minutes. Bless you. I hope it can be a blessing to you. But we want to thank you all so much for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Now, tomorrow
See y'all
night, we're going to
tomorrow.
be here. We're going to be here. I know y'all not used to Monday night, but the reason we're doing Monday is because of who we have. And because I am not going to be back for 2 weeks after we do
Mhm.
tomorrow's show. But
And
you
we're gonna
guys
do
are going
our
to see me on
own
Facebook. We're
send-off
just not going to
for
be
Miss Ella.
because I have to get prepared for this national convention that I've been waiting for a long time. Y'all pray for me and just pray for me because I'm driving there as well. that you guys pray for me that, I have a safe trip and all of that. Love y'all, but we'll see you tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Central, right here on the Ella Johnson Show. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show. We'll see you next time.
We are supporters of the Ella Johnson Show. We live in South Korea. We have been watching Ella Johnson Show for like a year now. And we love her show. Her show is very inspirational, motivational, and educational.
If you would like to be a guest on the Ella Johnson Show, send an email to theellajohnsonshow@gmail.com or send a text message to 407-334-6997.
We love Ella Johnson Show.